My cherished child, I feel the heavy weight of your disappointment when my voice is quiet. You look at the stillness around you and feel forgotten. But you do not see that in this silence, I am anchoring your faith deeper into the earth, far past what your human eyes can perceive. You worry that I am slow to act, lingering while your life slips by. Yet you have never witnessed the quiet ways I shift mountains in the dark and sweep the stones from the path ahead of you. Do not conclude so quickly that I have walked away. Sometimes I draw back my hand only to teach you how to stand on your own 2 feet, never to let you fall. Remember my servant Elijah, who fled into the wild so weary that he cried out to me, saying it was enough. He sat under the shade of a tree and pleaded with me to take his life. Elijah believed I had abandoned him, misinterpreting my quietness as a sign that he was cast aside and forgotten. But I did not respond with anger, nor did I scold his trembling heart. Instead, I sent my messenger to touch him twice, offering a gentle command to rise and eat, because the long road ahead of him was far too demanding for his empty strength. There was no spectacular display of power, no fire falling from the heavens, just a quiet meal in the desert dust. Yet through that tender silence, Elijah found the strength to rise and walk again. Just like him, you will have days when you hear nothing from my lips. During those quiet seasons, you cannot see that I am building a deep strength inside you, a hidden power to carry you across the very deserts you swore would consume you. I know there are times when you do not need grand applause. You only crave a simple sign that the kingdom of heaven still remembers your name. But as the days stretch out, the stillness grows heavy, almost suffocating, and you assume I have turned away. Let me reveal the truth. This silence is an invisible furnace. I am holding you in this quiet space, letting the stillness act as a mirror to show you the cracks in your soul. I am not cruel, my child. I am healing your deepest wounds in ways that noise never could. When you look back on your life, your eyes find only the stumbles, the unanswered prayers, and the doors that remain locked against you. You tell yourself that I have arrived too late to save you. But in those quiet delays, I'm actually reshaping the very rhythm of your breathing to align with the heartbeat of heaven. While you watch time slip away like dry sand through your fingers, I see a beautiful soul being refined to carry a weight of glory far greater than anything you can imagine. And when the aching in your chest becomes too heavy, you wonder if I am punishing you. You do not understand that what you perceive as a terrible loss is often my hand pulling you back from a path that ends in a dark, bottomless abyss. I never allow pain into your life to break your spirit or make you feel ashamed. I allow those difficult seasons to come, so you will finally let go of the things you grasp so tightly, the very things that are slowly causing your inner life to rot away. My quietness and my slow timing are part of a beautiful protective design to keep you safe from dangers you cannot yet see. You believe that when my heavens are silent, I've traveled far away, leaving you to fight monsters you cannot even name. But you fail to see that when you are trembling in the quiet of the night, I am bending down closer than ever before, catching every silent sigh you try so hard to hide behind a brave, quiet face. Every unspoken thought that dies in your throat is perfectly clear to me, and I count every tear you brush away when you think you are entirely alone. Yet because my answers do not arrive on your timeline, you begin to fear that my love has grown cold. Let me assure you, my child, that my silence is never a locked door. It is a quiet room where I invite you to rest, a sacred place where I can gently mend the deep, aching fractures you are too afraid to touch. If you can find stillness within, you will realize that my quiet is not distance, but the gentle way I hold you close without overwhelming your fragile heart. I let the quiet last because some things can only be healed away from the noise. While you wait for a loud voice or dramatic sign, I'm calling you to listen to the steady beat of your own heart, the place where I have made my home, never moving, even an inch away from you. You feel that I am running late, but you cannot see how I am shaping and sharpening your faith with absolute tenderness. I do not desire a faith that only trusts when the path is smooth and every wish is granted. I want you to trust my heart, even when every visible sign screams that you have been abandoned. One day, you will see that real faith is not born in the moments of instant answers, but when you hold my hand in the dark. In that quiet surrender, your roots grow deep, reaching for the waters of life. I know the exact nights when you stare up at the vast expanse of the sky, wondering if your Creator even notices your existence. Hear me now. I have never looked away from you, not for a single fraction of a second. You view my quietness as a hard rejection, but I see it as a soft cocoon, holding a beautiful soul that is preparing to fly. Sometimes I hold back my words so you will stop searching for external answers and begin to find me in the ordinary moments of your life, hidden in the very details you usually rush past. When I am silent, it is never a punishment. It is simply my love healing you at a gentle, careful pace that your fragile human heart can actually bear without breaking. Looking back on this season in the future, you will clearly see how my hand carried you through moments you once dismissed as trivial. Yet right now, I see the quiet whisper of shame telling you that you are no longer worthy of my gaze. You look at your flaws and believe you are too weak, too broken, and too far gone for me to ever draw near. But I do not view you through the narrow, critical eyes of humanity. I look upon you with the eyes of your Creator, the one who fashioned you and knew your name before the world began. I have never once agreed with the cruel accusations you repeat to yourself in the dark, and I never will. I have never measured your worth by the scales of human success or failure. My eyes look only at a heart that refuses to give up, even when it is covered in heavy scars, and I still call you my precious treasure. When my silence drives you into a corner of self-blame, you forget who I am to you. I am your loving Father, not a cold judge waiting to condemn you. I am not demanding perfection from you. I only long for the return of your tired, weary heart. So when the heavens seem like brass and you hear nothing, do not withdraw in fear. Look deeper than the surface of this stillness, for I am moving in secret places your eyes cannot yet see. Please do not run away from me when the cold ache of loneliness creeps in. It is in those exact moments of isolation that I yearn to hear you call my name with complete honesty. Even if the only words you can muster are a whispered confession that you are too weak to go on. You do not have to put on armor or pretend to be strong to stand in my presence. I only want you to be real with me. From that place of truth, I will take your hand and guide you out of the thick fog that has settled over your mind. You will see that feeling forgotten is just a shadow thrown by fear, not the truth of my heart. Once you cross that line, every delay will look different. You spend so much time looking backward, wondering why your life feels like a series of delays, as though you have missed every important opportunity that came your way. When you watch other people running ahead, while your feet feel heavy and slow, you think, I must be showing them favor while leaving you behind. But hear me, my child. I have never measured your progress by the speed of another soul. Every single life I have fashioned has its own unique rhythm, its own designated hour, and its own carefully mapped path. I designed your steps so that you would never lose the beautiful, divine essence I placed deep within you when I created you. But when you focus entirely on comparing your life to others, you miss the quiet ways my hand is carving out a better path for you. You hear the relentless ticking of the clock, telling you that you are running out of time. But I am actually pulling you back from hasty decisions that would only leave your soul bruised and bleeding. I know the mornings when you wake up already feeling defeated, as if you are too far behind to ever catch up with the world. You look at your age, count the lost moments that slipped through your fingers, and whisper to yourself that it is now too late for anything good to happen. But my timeline is different. You must realize that my ways do not bow to the calendars and clocks of this world. I am never rushed when you are in a panic, and I never tremble when fear grips your mind. My work takes place in the deepest chambers of your spirit, where earthly time has no power to bind or limit what I can do. You look back at the years and see only empty, wasted space. But I have used every single day to quietly build endurance, deep humility, and a strong faith, treasures that quick success can never produce. When you feel like you are wandering in hopeless circles, you are actually walking the exact path I set before you. I see you come to prayer with a heavy chest, burdened because you feel your life is dragging behind, and you point the finger of blame at yourself. You ask me in tears if I am still writing beautiful chapters for your future, or if the book of your life has already been closed. Let me settle this in your heart, you and I together. I have never abandoned the destiny I promised you. No locked door on earth can ever override what I have spoken over your life. While you can only see the step right in front of you, I see the entire landscape of your days. What you call a delay is often the perfect speed to protect you from blessings you are not yet strong enough to carry. My precious child, simply because you have not reached your destination does not mean you are a failure. It only means you are walking through the precise steps of my divine timing. I see how you carry a habit that slowly drains the joy from your soul. You constantly measure your progress against the path of those around you. You see them leaping ahead while you feel like you are crawling inch by painful inch, and you decide that you are less than them or have been left behind. But when you look at others, you become blind to the beautiful work of restoration that I am doing deep inside you right now. My child, when you constantly look at what others are achieving, you blind yourself to the quiet work I am doing inside you. I am sowing precious seeds in your heart every single day. And just because you cannot see the blossoms yet, does not mean they are not alive. They are simply resting, waiting for the perfect climate, the light, and the precise moment I have set for them. If you try to force your flowers to open in someone else's spring, you will only break your own fragile petals before they can tell the story I am writing for you. So when anxiety grips your chest as time slips away, I need you to pause. Slow down your breathing. Look at me, not the rush of this world. You must believe me when I say you are not late. I am simply holding you back for a little while longer so that when the door finally swings open, you will step through with a soul that is strong, deep, and fully ready to carry what I will place in your hands. I refuse to give you blessings before you have the roots to sustain them, because a rootless blessing will cause you to fall faster than you can imagine. Let me guide your steps according to the perfect rhythm of heaven, a rhythm that is never off by even a single second. Soon, you will look back and realize that what you thought was a delay was actually my love, carefully preparing you for things you never felt worthy to hold. Once you finally let go of this heavy obsession with time, you will begin to look at every single stumble, every frustrating delay, and every closed door with completely new eyes. You will stop rushing to the painful conclusion that I am keeping good things away from you. Instead, a beautiful understanding will wash over you, and you will see that I am actually keeping you safe from things that were never meant to be yours. In this truth, your tired heart will finally grow lighter. You will begin to recognize that I am already carving out a path for you in beautiful places your eyes cannot yet see, preparing a future that is perfectly tailored for your soul. When you finally learn to trust my hand in the quiet delays, you will also discover how to trust me in your losses, in your redirections, and even in the moments you call pain. This surrender is the doorway that leads you directly into a much deeper truth. Pain is not a sign of my anger. Most of the time, it is simply a shield I have quietly slid in front of you to block a blow you could not see coming. I know there are hard days when you look at the broken pieces of your life, whispering that I am punishing you. Disappointment feels heavy and constant, while joy seems to lag far behind. You watch dreams fade and beautiful relationships fracture, and in the silence of your mind, you wonder if my love has run out. Listen to me, my precious child. I have never once used pain to take revenge on you, or to push you down into the dust. I only hold up pain as a gentle mirror, so that you can see the heavy weights that are dragging your soul down the very things you have been too afraid to face alone. If you would only draw closer to me, you would understand that what feels like unfairness is actually the protective shield I have prepared for you. When a door slams shut, I watch you hang your head in shame, blaming yourself, blaming the world, and eventually blaming me. You do not realize that I am the one who placed my hand on that door, closing it firmly, before it had the chance to crush you completely. I know there were people you truly believed were right for you, but my eyes saw the deep pain they would eventually bring into your life. There were paths you desperately wanted to walk, but I knew you would lose your soul if I allowed you to take them. So in my mercy, I had to step in and stop you, even when you wept, because you could not understand my ways. You only see the immediate loss of something you wanted so badly. I see that I am rescuing you from a devastating wound that you would never be able to heal on your own. One day, when your heart is quiet, you will thank me. You will see that what I withhold is never a punishment, but a preparation, as I use delays to shield you from unseen dangers. Think back to the moments you were so angry because you were stuck in traffic, or when you missed that meeting you thought was a golden opportunity. You felt so sad, so frustrated, beating yourself up for being careless. But you did not see that those exact moments of being held back were my hands, keeping you far away from a crisis I wanted you to avoid. I do not always need to perform a spectacular miracle to shield you. Often, a simple, ordinary delay is all it takes to shift the entire course of your destiny. If you would only look at your journey from my perspective, you would see that behind every late arrival and every ruined plan, there is a beautiful, loving arrangement I am quietly setting up. I do not boast or shout when I rescue you from danger. I simply move in silence, protecting you, and then I stand back to watch you walk forward in perfect safety. But I know how fragile your heart is, and how easily you fall into old habits. You keep painting my face with the features of the people who have broken your trust. When someone lets you down, you instantly worry that I will do the exact same thing to you. When a person walks away, you panic, thinking that I will also abandon you to the dark. And when pain strikes you, quickly assume that I am holding a rod of punishment over your head. But hear me clearly, my child. I am not them. My love is nothing like the love of this world. I've never come to strike you down. My only desire is to lift you up and rescue you from the consequences of choices you do not even fully understand yet. If my goal were to punish you, I would have simply folded my arms and left you to sink deeper into those destructive paths you chose. But instead, I reach down and pull you back, even when you fight against my grip, because I see the dangers that are still hidden from your eyes. I love you not because you have earned it, but simply because you are mine. Because you belong to me, I will not let pain ruin your future. When you are bleeding inside, I do not ask you to be strong. I only ask you to come close and show me your real wounds. Your raw, heavy emotions do not offend me. It only breaks my heart when you try to hide your tears and carry the weight of this world all on your own. I want you to let me step into the darkest, most hidden rooms of your soul. The places you keep locked because you are convinced they are too ugly to be loved. Let me show you that your pain is not a graveyard. It is simply the soil of your heart being deeply turned over so that I can plant something fresh and beautiful. When you walk with me, you will see that pain is never the final sentence of your life. It is only a brief pause, a comma that opens up into a chapter of renewal, guiding you to a goodness you never dared to dream of. When you finally release all of your heavy doubts about my love, you will start to see the events of your life unfold in a completely different way. You will see that your losses are not empty endings, but simply the clearing of old soil to make room for my new seeds of life. You will see that the sudden, sharp turns in the road are not frustrating detours, but my precise adjustments to keep you from plunging over unseen cliffs. And most of all, you will realize that I am not far away in some distant heaven. I am standing right beside you through every step, holding you close through every heavy sigh, and lifting you up every single time you find the strength to stand again. As you begin to understand the purpose behind your pain, a gentle realization will wash over your soul. You will see that you have not only misunderstood your suffering, but you have also deeply misjudged yourself. This will be the bridge leading you directly to the next truth. You are not a flawed product of your past. You are clay, being lovingly reshaped in the hands of a patient potter. I know there are days when you look back and see nothing but the scars of old wounds. You obsess over bad choices, trust given to the wrong people, and the falls that still make you shudder with shame. You tell yourself that you deserve to suffer, believing your mistakes have stripped away your worth in my eyes. My child, I have never looked at you through the critical eyes you use to judge yourself. Where you look back and see only a past shattered into fragments, I look and see a beautiful soul waiting to be made whole. I am not standing beside you to accuse you. I am standing right here to pull you away from that harsh, relentless voice you keep repeating in your mind. If you would only quiet your thoughts, you would hear me. My words are so much gentler than the heavy judgments you place on yourself. When you blame yourself for what is past, you are like someone looking into a shattered mirror, weeping over a distorted reflection, without realizing it is the mirror that must be thrown away, not your heart. Every time you whisper to yourself, "I deserve this," you build a high wall between your heart and the beautiful restoration I am longing to give you. You are convinced that I keep a detailed record of your failures, constantly remembering your mistakes. But the truth is, I have thrown them so far away that you are the only one still holding on to them. You call yourself by cruel names. I have never used terms like foolish, weak, worthless, or broken. Those words do not come from my mouth, my child. They are born from your deep fear of being hurt again, a shield you use to protect yourself from hope. You are using your past as a heavy iron chain to lock yourself in a dark cell, while my deepest desire is to unlock those gates so you can step into a glorious future carved by my hands. You only need to relax your tight grip a little bit, and I will show you the new mirror I am holding out for you. A glass where you are seen through the eyes of a loving father, not a cold judge. I need you to remember that you are simply the clay, and I am your potter. No one looks at raw clay on a wheel and calls it useless. They only look at the hands of the artist shaping it. You are not in your final form yet. You are in the very middle of my sacred process. My process will always require moments of being pressed, adjusted, and even broken down, so that you can be remade into something far better. You thought the violent shaking of your life was my punishment, but in truth, it is how I gently reshape the parts of you that have drifted from my original design. You have not been abandoned in the hot furnace of trial. You were placed there with purpose, to make you firm, resilient, and strong. A vessel can never mold itself. It must yield to the hands of the potter, letting him touch, turn, and adjust it, even when the molding hurts. If you will only let me work, you will realize that you are never broken beyond my repair. You are being made completely new, piece by piece, day by day. I see how exhausted you are from pretending that everything is fine, trying so hard to use your outward achievements to cover up your deepest, quietest insecurities. You chase desperately after the expectations of other people, hoping that if they finally approve of you, your internal pain will vanish on its own. But my child, human hearts can never be your sanctuary of healing. They are only a desert that will leave you more empty and tired. I do not wait for you to become strong before I draw close to you. I am simply waiting for you to admit your weakness so that I can step in and be strong in your place. My beloved child, you do not have to wear that heavy mask of strength anymore. You do not have to play the role of the resilient one for me, because I love you in your absolute truest state. When you are tired, when you feel fragile, and even when you have no idea where to begin. Lay down this exhausting burden of trying to prove that you are good enough. When you insist on holding on to the right to condemn yourself, you are locking the door to the very restoration I am holding out to you. Come close to me now. Bring me every single thing you consider ugly. Your past missteps, your cracked and bleeding heart, your hidden anger, your deepest shame, and that paralyzing fear of being judged by the world. Let me hold it all. Do you really think these wounds are foreign to me? I am not unfamiliar with your struggles. I saw them long ago, and yet I still chose to love you through every single stumble along the way. Stop hiding from me behind those bitter words of self-condemnation. Let me wash away the distorted lens through which you look at yourself, so you can finally see that you are not the final product of your mistakes. You are a fresh page I am still writing upon with great care, not a discarded fragment thrown into the dark. As you begin to realize how truly precious you are in my hands, your heart will grow so much lighter, and your steps will become steady. You will see that I never called you to just reluctantly survive. I want you to rise up. I want you to find deep peace, but even more than that, I want you to become living, breathing proof that restoration is real and is still unfolding within you day by day. When your soul is finally set free from the mocking voices of your past, you will hear my call to something far greater than mere existence. You will see that this life is not just a repetitive struggle to survive until sunset, but a sacred mission where you are sent to reach others. The very things that once caused you agony will become a master key, opening doors of hope for those who are currently lost in the dark. You will realize that I do not heal you just so you can feel comfortable. I restore you so that you may become a radiant light in a dark world, so that when others look at you, they will see my reflection shining back at them. Armed with this realization, you will be ready to step boldly into whatever comes next, living with vibrant purpose and carrying my blessing wherever I plant your feet. I know there are seasons when, after receiving too many painful blows, you only have the strength to whisper a single prayer to me. Please, just let me have some peace. That is all you can manage to ask for, and my child, I deeply understand that. I see how exhausted you are, to the point where you no longer even dare to dream of anything more. But hear my voice, my child. If you live only to dodge pain and merely scrape by from sunrise to sunset, you are living far beneath the glorious destiny I have placed deep inside you. I did not rescue and redeem you just so you could retreat into a quiet, safe corner, locking your heart away from the world while trembling at every risk. I set you completely free so that you could step out into the open, turning the very scars that once brought you deep shame into a beautiful story of restoration for others to see. If you only pray for your own comfort and forget that I long to use your life to touch hurting souls, the blessing within you will slowly dry up because it has nowhere to flow. I know how often you have labeled yourself as ordinary, thinking it is enough to just slip through life unnoticed without ever asking for anything greater. You look at those I use for my glory and whisper to yourself, I am not that kind of person. And so you hide back in your small, safe comfort zone. But my child, I do not choose people based on flawed human standards. I do not search for the perfect or the polished. I search for those who have been broken, who have thirsted in dry places, and who know exactly what the depths of despair feel like. When I lift them up, they truly understand the beauty of grace. You tell me you have nothing to give, but I see a treasure inside you. All I ask, is that you find the courage to place the little you think you possess directly into my hands. I will take it, break it, bless it, and multiply it for far more people than your mind could ever imagine. The exhausting battles you are fighting right now are not just about money, emotions, or broken relationships, though it feels that way to you. Behind the scenes, there is a fierce, spiritual clash raging over you. The enemy of your soul is terrified that you will discover the mighty calling I have placed on your life. You think you are merely trying to survive the day, but both I and the darkness know that you were created for things far greater than this. Whenever you feel like throwing in the towel, a cruel whisper echoes in your mind, telling you that your life has no meaning. Hear me clearly. That voice is not mine. That is the voice of the enemy, who wants you to forget that you are a sent one, so that you will settle for living like a faint, forgotten shadow in this world. I never created you to be a silent extra, standing in the background of history. I created you so that my light within you, no matter how small it seems to you, would be bright enough to guide someone who has completely lost their way. When I lift you up, even just a little, I do not do it so that you can boast of your own strength or success. I place you in new positions, bring new relationships into your path, and open doors of opportunity, so that through them, people can clearly see my divine fingerprints on your life. I am not asking you to show off your achievements to the world. I want you to tell the story of the one who held your hand and guided you through the dark days when all hope seemed entirely lost. The deep scars in your heart and the tear stains on your face are not things you need to hide in shame. They are living proof that you walked through the raging fire and were not consumed, because I was with you. When you share how weak you were, I will use it to comfort those standing in that same fire. You do not need to deliver flawless speeches or perfect sermons. You only need to live a genuine, authentic life before others. And I will use that as a powerful living testimony. Therefore, my child, do not simply beg me for blessings just to make your life comfortable, only to clutch them tightly to your chest as if you are terrified they will be snatched away. True blessing only multiplies when it flows freely through you to bless someone else. If you hoard it, it will mutate into a paralyzing fear of loss rather than the pure joy of giving. I'm calling you to step out of this survival mindset and begin to ask me daily, Lord, where do you want to use me today? When you live with that question on your heart, you will begin to see that every drop of pain, every frustrating delay, and every fiery furnace you once blamed me for was never truly wasted. I have gathered every single fragment of your suffering and woven them into a masterpiece of a story that only you can tell. Whenever you share it, those who listen will instantly recognize that your survival was not a stroke of luck, but the undeniable touch of my hand upon a life that surrendered to me. The world around you will keep demanding that you wear a calm face, pretending you are always strong and in control, as if admitting weakness means you will be discarded. I do not look at you through the cold, demanding eyes of the world. I know who you are on the days when you are radiant, and I know you just as intimately on those dark nights when you sit in a daze, staring blankly at an empty wall. I'm there on the mornings when the sheer weight in your chest makes it feel impossible to get out of bed. While others only want to listen to your stories of victory, I tune my ear to the heavy sighs you assume no one cares to hear. When the people around you run out of patience because you are repeating the same old sadness, I am still sitting quietly right beside you, looking at you with eyes that never grow weary or tired. I know there are times when you feel like you arrived too late, convinced that you have completely missed your chance. You look back and grieve over the youth you burned away on toxic relationships, hollow goals, and empty illusions that left you with nothing but regret. You carry the crushing weight of feeling like your life is ruined, as if you have squandered every precious moment of time I gave you. But when my eyes rest upon you, I do not see a list of your mistakes or your failures. I see a beautiful heart that, though severely bruised, is still beating for me. I see a soul that once wanted to let go of everything, yet today you are still here. You are still here, holding on to just enough courage to breathe, to exist, and to dare to speak to me, your creator. The simple truth that you are still standing after falling so many times is a profound beauty that easily surpasses any title, social status, or earthly accomplishment the world could ever praise. Trophies, gold certificates, and empty compliments will all eventually fade and gather dust in the dark. But a soul who dares to rise after devastating pain, who dares to return home after wandering in the wilderness, in my eyes, that is a magnificent spiritual victory, far greater than any flawless plastic life, but has never known a single mistake. Despite all the shame you carry for your wounds, you still call me Lord, and you still dare to call yourself my child. Do you have any idea how deeply that pleases my heart? I do not want you to look at everything you have left undone and use it as a weapon to condemn yourself day after day, acting like a merciless judge, demanding flawless perfection from your soul. You and I do not belong in a courtroom setting, so stop standing before me as if you are on trial, desperately trying to defend your mistakes or prove that you deserve one more chance at life. I already know every single thing about you, and my love for you has never wavered for a second. I'm not holding a comparison chart in my hands, measuring how many years you are late, how many steps you are behind, or how many golden opportunities you think you have squandered. You are uniquely you, not a cheap copy of anyone else on this earth. The journey I am writing for your life does not duplicate anyone else's path. Every single child I create has a unique rhythm, designed specifically for them. If you keep forcing yourself to run at someone else's pace, you will collapse from exhaustion before you ever reach the beautiful destination I have prepared for you. I know you compare yourself to others because you fear being forgotten, but in my kingdom, no child is surplus. No one is left behind in my house, and no one is ever too late to receive their full inheritance. Those toxic, nagging thoughts do not come from me. They're born from the fear in your own heart, fueled by a noisy world that demands you prove your worth through quick results, speed, and high status. I do not look at you through that distorted lens. I see you with the gentle eyes of a loving father who has watched your every step from the moment of your birth until now. I know every season you have smiled, every tear you have wept in secret, and every time you tried so hard that you did not even realize how much you had given. Every promise over your life has its appointed hour. Look at the trees, how they follow the seasons I have appointed. Some of my seeds sprout in a sudden burst of green, breaking through the soil after only a few days. Yet there are other seeds, precious and deep, that I keep hidden in the dark earth for a very long time before they rise to become sturdy trees. I know you long only for what is instant. You crave quick miracles and doors that fly open wide so you never have to wait, never have to feel the sting of uncertainty or cry out, "Why have I not received this yet?" But I do not work according to your impatience. I move in my eternal wisdom. I see the entire grand tapestry, while you see only a tiny corner. Trust me, for there are things I have intentionally kept out of your hands for now. Do not think I withhold these gifts because I take pleasure in your lack or deprivation. I do not. But I know that if I were to hand you these treasures before your heart is deep enough, before your foundations are firm, and your faith is truly rooted, that very blessing would become a crushing weight on your back. I do not want my gifts to turn into chains that bind you. I do not want my grace to become the very thing that pulls you away from my presence or alienates you from who I made you to be. I would much rather slow things down, slowing the pace of your life, to dig your foundations deeper into my love. I want to teach you to trust me in the heavy silence and train your soul to stand absolutely firm, even when nothing ahead is clear. I refuse to give you something you desire so desperately if it will only end up ruining your soul. I see how you look back at these past years, weeping, thinking you have gained absolutely nothing. You feel as though you have wasted your youth, killed precious time with foolish choices, suffered through misdirected relationships, and labored in dead-end jobs that led nowhere. You see a chain of wasted time, but I see those years as a hidden workshop of divine refinement. No one else noticed, but I was there. I used those long, repetitive days to soften the stubborn places of your heart, making you sensitive to the agony of others and breaking the secret pride you never would have recognized had you succeeded too quickly. I have deliberately used the wounds of your broken relationships to teach your heart a vital lesson. I wanted you to learn the difference between true, self-giving love and mere exploitation. I want you to be able to recognize the genuine value of those who will cherish you. I also used those nameless, ordinary tasks, those years of quiet labor that went completely unacknowledged by the world, to teach you perseverance and endurance. I wanted you to do things for me out of pure devotion, rather than seeking the hollow praise of people. Believe me when I tell you that no season in your life has been superfluous. There are only seasons whose deep, redemptive purpose you have not yet fully understood. I do not mock you when you fail to understand my ways. Instead, I wait patiently for the moment when your restless mind falls calm, so that I can gently explain each part of your path to you. I will show you how every footprint you once thought was aimless wandering was actually leading you to me. Today, even if you look at your life and feel as though you amount to absolutely nothing, I want you to stop and look deeply at this one truth. You are still here. You are still alive, still able to feel, still holding on to belief, even if that belief is trembling. You have wanted to give up so many times, yet you could never let go, because a fragile, quiet strand still connects your soul to mine. It is precisely this thin, seemingly fragile strand of connection that brings immense delight to my heart. It reassures me that you have not locked me out completely, and that you still long for something far deeper than a life of just getting by. Do not look down on yourself because you still choose to sit here, to stay, to read, to listen, and to talk with me in the quiet hours. This very act is proof of a soul that refuses to let the surrounding darkness swallow it whole. I do not demand that you transform into a perfect hero overnight. My only desire is that you give me the opportunity, day by day, to gently soften just one more stubborn, aching corner of your heart. I want you to know that you are not the only one who has ever wept and believed it was too late, or that all hope was gone. Many of those I love most dearly have walked through grueling years that felt like a barren desert, filled only with my apparent silence. Yet in reality, I was quietly writing the deepest, most beautiful chapters of their life story. You often whisper to yourself, "When will it be my turn? When will I finally see the things you promised me?" I do not look down on you for asking this. I understand completely. This question is born from all those painful moments you spent standing on the sidelines, watching others receive the very blessings you have wept for. Listen closely, for in my kingdom, there is no such thing as someone else taking your place or stealing your turn. What I have set apart specifically for you, no hand can ever snatch away. Likewise, what I have ordained for others is not yours to seize. Every single child of mine has a portion that is uniquely theirs, and the hour of its unveiling is appointed by my hand alone. Just because you watch others cross the finish line before you does not mean I have abandoned you at the start. Sometimes I intentionally hold you back at the beginning. I do this so you can learn vital lessons others do not need, lessons you will desperately require in places where they will never have to go. Instead of crying out, "When will it finally be my turn?" I long for you to look up and ask, "Lord, what are you teaching me in this season?" The moment your question changes, the heavy weight of your impatience will begin to lift. You will see that I am not silent or motionless as you have imagined. I am actively working, shaping your heart and aligning the circumstances of your life. I am preparing you, so that when I finally bring you to your destination, everything will fall perfectly into place. You are not hidden away or forgotten in some dark corner of the sky. I have not placed you at the very back of the line only to forget your name. I remember you, always. I see every tiny detail of your life, even the hidden things that others would never bother to notice. There are dreams you believe you have buried forever, yet I still hold them tenderly in my hands. I'm quietly breathing my life back into them, waiting for the day when you find the courage to receive them once more, free from the paralyzing fear of failure. I remember the words you cried out to me in tears so many years ago, words you stopped repeating because you grew too weary. I've never forgotten them. I keep your prayers as precious seeds in my storehouse, waiting for the right season to sow them. Though you cannot see it, things are already stirring in the spiritual realm. I am stirring up the deep chambers of your soul that you thought had grown cold. I'm awakening those beautiful, healthy desires you tried to extinguish because you were terrified of hoping, only to be crushed by disappointment again. My quiet presence is touching the parched, dry places within you. You are beginning to realize you can no longer tolerate a life of just getting by, merely surviving and enduring day after day. This very restlessness is the proof that my spirit is at work inside you. It is not meant to cause you panic, but to reassure you that my hand is still active in your life. You may not have a name for this shift yet, but you feel the change. You feel a quiet discomfort when you try to compromise with things you know are not right, and a faint, aching hunger for something deeper that you cannot even put into words. Do not rush to quench these feelings or push them away. They are not signs of emotional instability. They are my gentle hand knocking on the door of your heart. I'm inviting you to step out of a life that only seeks comfort and safety. A life that only begs me to leave you in peace and protect you from pain. I'm calling you to step into a new way of living, one where your soul rises up to ask me, Lord, how can I belong to you more? How can I draw closer to your heart? How can you let me use your life to touch another hurting soul? I'm not demanding that you change the entire world in a single day. I only want you to start with the small things I place right in front of you. A sincere word of kindness to someone who is hurting. A gaze filled with compassion. An act of forgiveness that you once believed was utterly impossible for you to offer. Every single step you take, hand in hand with me, holds eternal weight. It is through these quiet, simple moments that your true calling is revealed. I did not keep you alive just so you could exist, pay bills, and vanish without a trace. I preserved you because your story will awaken other hearts. The scars upon your soul are not merely reminders of past agony. They will become living proof that I can hold up and restore a person whom the world believed had no chances left. You have no idea how many broken people desperately need to hear that truth from your own lips, and to witness it through the beauty of your restored life. This is exactly why I am gently awakening you now, expanding the capacity of your heart and softening the walls you built to protect yourself. You have never been forgotten by me. You are not overlooked. I have never bypassed you to focus on other souls who seem more brilliant or important to the world. I am preparing you for something both gentle and magnificent. You will be living proof that I still heal, still restore, and still make all things new, even in a life that the world had completely written off as hopeless. Do not belittle yourself, and do not settle for simply being someone who hides away in search of quiet safety. I am calling you out of that shadow. I am calling you to become a bearer of my peace, a carrier of my hope, and a bringer of my light wherever your feet tread. When you finally step into this truth, you will see that every delay, every silence, and every year you thought was wasted was actually the path where I led you safely, so you could stand tall without fear. Have you ever noticed how in the very middle of those days that feel completely dark and hopeless, there is still something incredibly quiet stirring within your chest? It is like a gentle breath, weaving its way into your heart, a fragile beam of light that no human eye can see, yet your soul recognizes instantly. Sometimes you do not know what to call it. You might suddenly find yourself crying with no clear explanation. You just sense, deep within your being, a quiet expectancy, as if something far greater, purer, and truer is slowly drawing near to you. That is my spirit whispering to yours, reminding you that I have never left your side. Do not mistake this stir in your soul for some fleeting feeling, my child, because I am the one breathing a brand new life into your very depths. I am not offering you the frantic, shallow restarts of the world. No, this is a quiet, relentless awakening. I am not simply patching up your old habits or rearranging your outer life. I am completely reshaping how you perceive yourself, how you see my face, and how you look at this earth. I know how you shrink back in the shadows, whispering that you are far too common, too broken by past errors, or simply too late to be of any use to me. But you have forgotten something crucial. I have never once measured my designs by the opinions of the crowd. Your years do not define my timing, and I never look at your age to declare that your moment has passed. I will never take your worst mistakes and use them to brand your life as ruined or useless. Remember that I am the God who has always reached for the ones discarded in the shadows. I am the one who softly whispers the names of those whom the world has forgotten to count, pulling up the very souls who once condemned themselves to misery. I am a father, unlike anyone you have ever known in this life. Let me take the pieces of what you call a failed life and make them a shining testament of my grace. In your deepest weakness, you become like clear glass, allowing my pure light to shine through you, so everyone can see my glory. When my grace shines through your weakness, the world will lose its ability to claim that your success came from your own power. They will have no choice but to stand in awe and admit that a higher hand must have stepped into your story. Yet, my precious child, to mold you into this kind of living witness, I have had to shield you from dangers you never even knew existed. If you were to sit with me in quiet stillness today and ask how many times my unseen hands have protected you, the truth would leave you breathless with wonder. Think back to that day you were so consumed with anger over a simple traffic jam when a minor disruption broke your schedule, and you bitterly complained that you were cursed with bad luck. If I chose to pull back the veil of time and reveal what waited just up the road, you would realize that your missed opportunity was actually my rescue from a sudden disaster. Had you arrived exactly when you planned, you might not be alive today, sitting here in my presence. Think about that phone call you desperately waited for, the one that never came. A promise that felt as unshakable as a mountain suddenly evaporated into thin, unexplained silence. I saw you tossing and turning through sleepless nights, letting your mind believe the lie that you were rejected because you lacked worth. You convinced yourself that your flaws drove them away and made them change their minds. You wept bitterly, wondering why they walked away and left you abandoned in the dark. But as I watched that call fade, I was actively guarding your destiny from a bond that would have slowly devoured your dignity and shattered your inner peace. I already know which beautiful words will eventually turn into heavy iron chains. I see long before you do which welcoming smiles will transform into sharp blades. I alone can measure the staggering depth of the wounds you cannot foresee. This is why I block certain messages from reaching you, why I let false promises break apart, and why I let golden opportunities slip through your fingers while you sigh and lay blame on everyone, even on me. Do not think I delight in watching your tears fall over these closed doors, my child. Yet I will allow you to feel a temporary sting now, if it saves you from an agony that is 1,000 times more devastating in your future. You fixate on one closed doorway as if it contains your entire destiny, but I am looking at the endless corridor that stretches far beyond it. I know how alluring those invitations look, how perfect those relationships seem, and how those grand projects promise to bring you fame and power. But I also see the terrible price your soul would pay, the restless nights, the decay of your character, and the loss of the beautiful simplicity I cherish in you. I will not let you sell your soul for cheap, fleeting glory. This is the reason I must sometimes lead you down paths you never would have chosen for yourself. I will slam a door shut in your face and cut the ties you desperately want to hold on to, leaving you wrapped in a heavy, confusing silence. To your limited sight, this feels like an unbearable loss. But to my eyes, it is your ultimate redemption. You constantly ask me why I do not explain my reasons right away. If I revealed every secret of my plan, you would obey me out of sheer fear rather than genuine devotion. I want you to lean into my heart, even when you have no answers, so that your faith is not a transaction, but a beautiful and complete surrender to my love. Every single thing I do, whether I clear a new path before you or build a wall to block your way, comes from the exact same deep well of my endless love. My love is not a shallow affection that spoils you by giving you dangerous desires, nor is it a cold, distant force that tests you just to prove your allegiance. I am like a loving father who firmly pulls a sharp blade away from his crying toddler, ignoring the tears, because he knows those small hands will only cut themselves. I am like a skilled physician, pressing deep into an open wound to extract the poison, causing you a moment of sharp pain now so you can heal completely and be saved from a far worse infection later on. I sometimes permit you to walk through valleys of weeping, not because your sorrow pleases me, but because these trials cultivate a profound empathy within your soul. Without these tears, you could never truly understand or comfort the brokenness of those around you. I promise you that I never waste a single teardrop. I catch every one, I remember their origin, and I use them to keep your heart tender in a world that grows increasingly cold and numb. Once you truly understand this mystery, you will no longer look at daily setbacks as curses or bad luck, and you will stop assuming that I am fighting against you whenever your personal plans crumble to dust. You will find yourself asking a completely different set of questions when things go wrong, wondering what I am shielding you from in that very moment. You will ask me what I want to teach you, and how I am preparing you for the road ahead. This is not the voice of a defeated victim, but the cry of a soul growing into true spiritual maturity. You will cease to view yourself as a helpless casualty of random events and realize instead that I am guiding your every step. When your thoughts shift from bitter accusation to a quiet search for my purpose, a deep, unshakable peace will wrap around your heart long before your physical circumstances even begin to change. There will be no more need for you to desperately clutch onto control when you trust that I am holding everything beyond your sight. You will finally understand a truth that used to be just words to you, that absolutely nothing can touch your life without passing through my hands first, and my hands act only out of perfect love for you. Do not imagine that my quiet protection is meant to let you live a comfortable, selfish life. I do not rescue you from hidden traps just so you can walk away and ignore my voice. I keep you safe because you are an essential piece of a grand design I am weaving across this earth. Whenever I pull you back from the edge of destruction, my eyes are on something much larger than just your safety. My thoughts are constantly on the desperate souls you will cross paths with in the future, the ones standing on the exact precipice where you once wept. When you look into their eyes, I want you to see beyond their immediate struggle and recognize your own reflection from years ago. You will offer them far more than empty advice. You will give them a living testimony, declaring that you were once where they are, and I pulled you out. I leave the scars of your battles intact for a reason. I extract the toxic pain, but leave the hard-won wisdom, so you can be a pillar of strength for the weak. The blessings I rain down on you are never meant to pool into a stagnant pond, but to flow as a living stream, that waters the dry deserts of others. Your entire way of walking through this world will shift the moment you realize that your rescue was not just for your comfort, but for your calling. You are not merely preserved to be safe. You are preserved to be sent. You will stop constantly begging me for more blessings and instead ask how you can share the abundance I've already poured into your life. The paralyzing fear of loss will melt away. You will finally understand that the God who shattered invisible traps to keep you alive is more than capable of providing everything you need as you walk in my purpose. You can trust my hand to supply all things. You will cease living like a fugitive running from disaster and start walking like a warrior, serving a good and mighty king. I am not a ruler who sends you alone into the heat of battle, nor am I one who leaves you cowering in a dark bunker forever. I desire for you to step forward in bold confidence, knowing that your words, your steps, and your everyday choices are holy channels through which I reach out to touch a broken world. Once you embrace this truth, the delays, the silent phones, the broken plans, and the unanswered texts will no longer feel like open wounds. They will become signposts, reminding you that my protective love is always marching ahead of you, even when you cannot see the way. Every chapter of your journey, from the moments of radiant joy to the nights you spent weeping in utter confusion, is being woven together by my hand. I'm crafting one beautiful, unbroken story, the testament of a father who never abandons his children, never makes a single mistake, is never late, and works all things for the ultimate good of those he loves. If you feel even the smallest ember glowing in your chest right now, a quiet longing to be used for a purpose greater than mere survival, know that I am the one who lit that fire. I placed that holy desire deep within you because I have set you apart. I am summoning you out of a life of mere survival and inviting you to step into the calling of one who is sent. You will walk not in your own fragile strength, but in my power, the power of the one who has shielded you from countless unseen dangers, just so you could stand here today, alive, breathing, and ready to cry out, "Here I am, send me." Yet you still run to me with endless lists of demands, asking why, when, and how long. You measure the depth of our bond by how fast I respond to you, and whether my answers align with your plans. Quiet your heart, my child, and simply rest in my presence. If I were to simply hand you an answer to every single question and then turn away my child, I would be nothing more than a lifeless machine running a cold code. But you must know that you are infinitely more precious to me than a transaction. I refuse to just toss temporary fixes into your life to patch over your fleeting confusion. My desire is to dwell within you, to become the ultimate answer to those hollow spaces inside that no human explanation could ever hope to satisfy. I see those quiet nights when you lie awake in the dark, your heart heavy with a grief so thick that your lips cannot even find the strength to form a single, simple prayer. Though you believe your silence is absolute, I can hear every single wordless cry that rises from deep within your chest. I am sitting right here beside you, not with loud words or showy displays, but in absolute gentle presence. My hand is reaching out to touch those cold places in your soul that you thought had long turned to stone, those secret, locked rooms you sealed away years ago out of fear that opening them would shatter your entire world. In this quiet stillness, I am working far deeper than you could ever begin to imagine. You think you must scream until the heavens shift color to get my attention, but a single, tired sigh sent my way makes all of heaven tremble. My love for you has never grown cold, even when you let go, doubted, and accused me. I watch closely as you quickly brush away your tears with your sleeve, and I will never tell you to stop weeping just to make things easier. I do not demand that you act strong the way the world so often does. Instead, I gently whisper into your ear that you are safe to cry here in my arms. but I ask that you do not let those tears convince you of a lie about who I am. You might feel as though you are falling apart in utter isolation, but the truth is that I am holding your fragile heart right now. I am carefully gathering every single shattered piece of your life, those very pieces you are convinced nobody else in this world cares about. Not a single word you speak to me, no matter how clumsy, repetitive, or exhausted it might sound, is ever lost or thrown into an empty void. I treasure every single one of them, and I am weaving them into the beautiful purpose I am quietly unfolding for your life. Never for a fraction of a second do I turn my eyes away from the heavy burdens you carry. You still carry this image of prayer as you knocking desperately on a closed door while I stand inside coldly deciding whether or not to let you in. In reality, the very moment you think of me, I am already standing right beside you with my hand on the latch, simply waiting for your permission to enter. I've never been a distant God who only listens when you speak the perfect words. As your father, I yearn for deep, intimate conversation with you, far more than I desire to simply fix your latest crisis. I see how you keep a careful checklist of which prayers I have answered and which ones seem ignored. You use that human scale to weigh the depth of my love, forgetting that the greatest gift I can offer is not a list of perfect outcomes that match your plans, but my very self. I am the unchanging one who walks with you through every shifting season, whether we are standing in a gentle rain or facing a violent storm. I am right there when you are strong and when you cannot take another step. I am your eternal portion, and no one can ever steal me from you, even if you lose everything else you thought you needed. You have fallen into the habit of approaching me like a customer at a service counter, handing over a list of demands and waiting restlessly for a transaction receipt. But my desire is for you to learn to come to me like a child, stepping into their father's warm home. I want you to sit down, open your heart wide, speak your mind, listen closely, and simply rest with me longer than a few rushed minutes. It is only in those quiet, lingering moments that I can truly water the parched spaces of your soul with my living truth. I do not want to merely fill your head with facts, but to give your inner being a solid foundation to cling to, a safe place to rest, and a source to restore your weary spirit. It has become natural for you to live by the mercy of your feelings, letting them rise and crash like chaotic ocean waves. One day you are full of faith because you see a sign, and the very next day you sink into despair when everything goes dark. Because of this, I am gently guiding your gaze away from the temporary foam of your circumstances and pointing you toward the deep, silent current of my truth. In that depth, the water of life flows constantly, entirely unaffected by the stormy weather of your earthly life. If you will choose to sit with me, to read, to ponder, and to bring your honest doubts into our conversation, you will find an underground spring within yourself, quiet yet unbreakable, hidden yet nourishing everything around you. I have never promised to shield you from every harsh gale that blows across your path, but I want you to understand a deeper truth. If you choose to anchor your roots deep down into my words, into my character, and into my fierce love for you, you will stand secure. When the great storms hit, you might sway in the wind, but you will not be torn from the earth. You may ache, but you will not break. You will feel weary, but you will never be swept away. What keeps you standing is never your own limited strength, but the invisible, unbreakable bond of love that ties your life directly to mine. You and I both know how often you have chased after fleeting comfort from others clinging to sweet words that evaporate almost as soon as they are spoken. I do not judge you for this, because I created you to need community. Yet I do not want you to rely solely on such fragile pillars. I long to be the rock-solid foundation beneath every relationship dream and plan you make. When a single brick falls, your entire life will not crash down around you if I am your foundation. If you live merely to survive one more day, you will hoard your blessings out of fear, hoping the storm will spare you. But that fear only turns your heart stagnant, like a closed-off pond whose waters slowly grow dark and lifeless. Everything changes when you choose to make your home with me, drinking deeply from my endless spring, and discovering that you are meant to be a channel of grace. I did not design you to be a reservoir, but a living stream that carries fresh water into the parched lives of those around you. When you live this way, my blessing is no longer a prize you desperately guard out of fear, but a rushing river that grows purer as it flows and richer as it is shared. I can see beautiful strengths inside of you that you have not yet dared to acknowledge, hidden beneath the painful trials you have survived. Every single sorrow you have carried when brought into my presence and washed in my truth is transformed into a sacred gift. This pain becomes the very bridge that allows you to reach out and hold someone else who is currently weeping in the exact dark valley where you once fell. You will not offer them cheap, hollow phrases because you know firsthand the agonizing reality of that hurt. And in that holy moment, when you stretch out your hand to ease their burden, I am right there with you. I'm speaking through your voice, shining light through your eyes, and using your beautifully healed scars to whisper to their broken heart that I am close to them too. It is easy to believe you are too weak or unwise to ever be of help to another, but you must remember that I am the one who accomplishes the work. You are simply the vessel, the clay lamp. Your job is not to manufacture the light, but merely to stay filled with my oil, keep the flame burning, and remain close to the source of all power. Every single time you come back to me, allowing me to gently touch the secrets you hide, letting my words rewrite your exhausted and twisted thoughts about who I am and who you are, you give me the space to redefine your understanding of true worth, success, and what it means to be fully alive. My purpose in placing you on this earth was never for you to simply dodge pain and quietly fade away into nothingness. I set you here so that through the wild storms and the bright sunshine, your life would stand as a quiet, undeniable sign that I am real. I want the world to look at you and see that I still rescue, still transform, and still walk beside my beloved children. Every single moment we spend together, every word of comfort or correction, is a seed of grace that will never be wasted. Out of these hidden meetings, you will stand up with a brand new vision, a stronger step, and a restored heart. People will notice a mysterious, beautiful quality about you that they cannot quite explain. My own presence resting on you. This is not about an artificial, flashy, outward show, but a profound quietness of spirit, an unusual patience, a gentle touch in tense moments, and an unwavering, steady heart when everything is uncertain. The beautiful fruit I am growing in your soul is not meant for your own vanity, but so you can offer cool, healing shade to someone who is exhausted and dying of thirst. I am calling you today to abandon the self-centered prayer that constantly asks when you will finally feel comfortable. Instead, I invite you to whisper, "Father, show me who you are. Teach me what you are building in my soul, so that I can carry your love to a hurting world." The moment you shift the focus of your prayers, the entire gravity of your life begins to change. You will stop viewing me as a giant vending machine built to satisfy your desires, and start knowing me as your loving Father, who is patiently training you with both tender grace and firm wisdom. From this sacred place of daily intimacy, I will quietly transform you. You will go from someone who merely knows how to scrape by and survive, to someone who actively radiates true life. This will not happen because of your own strain or effort, but through the natural, powerful flow of my spirit moving through you to touch corners of the world you never dreamed possible. Right now, I am asking you to quiet your mind and lay down the constant noise of the world around you for just a moment. It does not matter if you are sitting in a cramped, noisy room, riding on a crowded bus, or sitting alone in a busy cafe where not a single person knows your name. I am calling you to do one simple thing. Close your eyes. This is not about escaping your reality, but about carving out a small, sacred space for me in the middle of your swirling thoughts. You do not have to struggle to feel some intense emotion or visualize something grand. Just take a slow, deep breath. Let go of your tight grip on life and let your soul settle into absolute quietness. My beloved, in this very instant you and I are together, and I am right here beside you. I am not hiding in a distant, unapproachable heaven, but wrapping you in the quiet, protective embrace of a father holding his exhausted child who has run completely out of words. That hollow, aching void you feel inside is the exact temple I have chosen to make my home, if you will only welcome me in. As the noise fades, you will feel a gentle warmth spreading into the frozen corners of your soul. It is not a blinding explosion, but a quiet, life-giving spring flowing through your desert. I did not come to terrify you, but to lift the heavy weight you have carried for so long. My love is not a doctrine to study, but a living presence holding you. I am reaching down into the quiet, hidden places of your soul that no other hand has ever touched, the secret rooms you have tried so hard to lock away. Within you lie heavy depths of loneliness that you have never dared to speak of. Yet I have chosen to make my home right there in your isolation. As I dwell with you, you will slowly feel a gentle shift beginning deep inside. I do not promise that all your darkness will vanish in an instant, but a single soft beam of my light will show you that you are no longer sitting alone in the night. You will not leave this moment the same as when you entered it. I do not say that every trouble will disappear after just a few minutes of closing your eyes, but I promise to touch the very wounds you have avoided for years. Sometimes just a single moment of letting me draw near is all it takes to loosen the heavy, rusted chains that have bound your heart for so long. That rigid, stubborn wall inside you that constantly whispers that nothing will ever change is finally beginning to crack open. And into those tiny, quiet fractures, I'm gently planting a tender seed of hope. Though it may feel fragile and incredibly small right now, it holds more than enough power to push back the heavy thoughts that try to drag you down into your old, familiar numbness. You might not see the growth clearly just yet, but deep within your spirit, a quiet turning has already begun. Your tired soul is slowly turning its face back toward me. Even if you cannot find the words to describe it, you might think your faith abandoned you long ago, but in truth, it is only curled up to rest after surviving storms that were simply too strong for you to carry alone. Today, as you sit in this absolute stillness before me, that dying flame is being rekindled, not with loud, dramatic displays, but through a soft, tender whisper rising from deep within, telling you that I am still here. I have not stopped working on your behalf. My voice does not shout or demand anything from you. It moves like a gentle, warm breeze, stirring the heavy curtains you hung around your heart. You may not comprehend how it is happening, but amidst the flood of your tired thoughts, a quiet question begins to flicker. What if there is still hope for me? Right inside that fragile question, your faith is beginning to spark once again. It does not ignore the deep wounds you have suffered, but it gently whispers to your spirit that those scars do not mark the final chapter of your story. Perhaps over these past few days, you have felt a strange, lingering restlessness that you cannot quite explain. On the outside, everything seems exactly the same. The same daily job, the same room, the same faces. Yet deep inside, you feel as though something major is about to happen, as if you are standing on the threshold of a new season you cannot yet name. You might mistake this feeling for simple anxiety, but I want you to know that this restlessness is actually the bell of my spirit ringing deep inside you. I am gently shaking you from the deep slumber of merely surviving and just getting by, because I want to tell you that your story with me is far from finished. This current moment is not your final destination. it is a sacred transition. If you would only pause in the quiet and ask, "Lord, are you calling me?" you would immediately begin to realize that you are no longer a passive bystander in your own life. My divine timing does not operate like the calendar you hold in your hands. You measure your years by the appearance of wrinkles, by the pain of lost opportunities, and by the constant heavy feeling of lagging behind everyone else. But I do not measure time that way. I read your years by the beautiful things that have been carefully formed inside your soul. Those very years you believed were completely wasted were actually the precise seasons I used to soften the hardened, cold places in your heart, to gently break down your pride, and to peel away the protective layers you used to hide your deep-seated fears. On those lonely nights when you cried and thought your tears were entirely useless, I was silently gathering every single drop, using them like gentle rain to water the hidden fields within you. Once these current storms have fully passed, those same tears will become the strong roots anchoring your faith deep into the soil, so that when the next fierce winds of life blow, you will not be easily uprooted. You often mistake my silence for a harsh, painful test of your endurance, but there is a deeper work happening. In truth, I am teaching you a new language, the quiet language of trusting me when you have no immediate proof in sight. When I do not answer your prayers in the exact way you expect, you learn to sit with yourself and face the burning questions you once drowned out with constant noise. You begin to see clearly where you have placed your ultimate hope, instead of resting it in me. My silence exposes the fragile, false supports you have leaned on for so long, so that when they finally crumble, you can return freely to the only foundation that can never be shaken. This is not my cruelty toward you. It is healing at its deepest, most profound level. I know there is a quiet voice inside you that constantly whispers that it is too late, that your youth has slipped away, your best opportunities are gone, and your strength is fading. It is easy to believe your only task now is to simply endure until the end. But, my precious child, I have never been bound by human age, by circumstances, or by the record of your past. I once called a man whose hair had already turned completely grey, who had resigned himself to tiny expectations. And from his life, I raised a massive nation beyond counting. I once sought another who had run from his failures to live quietly in the desert, and into his tired hands I placed a great mission that changed history forever. These powerful stories are not just ancient, dusty legends to be read and forgotten. They are my reminders to you that I do not only work with the young or those who get an early start in life. In fact, I take immense delight in beginning brand new chapters with those who honestly believe they are completely finished. You are not standing in the wrong place today. You have not wandered so far off my path that you cannot find your way back home. Even along the darkest, most terrifying bends of your road, I am actively weaving every single detail together to prepare you for what lies ahead. With all your painful scars, your hard-won lessons, and your heavy falls, you are precisely the person I have chosen and suited for the next beautiful stretch of the journey I am unfolding. I do not seek a version of you that is scrubbed clean of every single mistake. Nor do I want the flawless, polished image you constantly try to perform for the world around you. Instead, it is you exactly as you are in this very moment who is the raw material I desire to work with. I have placed you right here in this specific season and under these exact circumstances, not because I ran out of options and had to settle for you as a last resort. On the contrary, I know with absolute certainty but what is coming next will require a heart that is exceptionally soft, humble, and willing to listen and yield to my touch. And that gentle spirit is precisely what your long years of waiting, of heavy silence, and of tears have been quietly shaping within you all along. Absolutely no stretch of your life is useless or empty in my eyes. Those long, exhausting seasons when you felt like you were just spinning in circles with no escape, the painful relationships that shattered into pieces, your abandoned projects, and the prayers that felt like they vanished into thin air. Every single bit of it has become clay in my hands. I do not waste a single one of your mistakes. I transform them into priceless wisdom so that in the future you will know exactly how to hold up others who begin to stumble in those same dark places. I never waste the heavy nights when you collapsed over your desk from pure stress and exhaustion. I use those hard moments to deepen your compassion for the quiet weariness carried by the person standing right next to you. I never waste those painful moments when you were convinced you had ruined everything. I take those exact ruins and turn them into the solid foundation on which you will truly learn the depth of my grace. In my hands, not a single broken shard of your life is ever discarded as garbage. Though your voice may tremble today, the time is coming when your words will resound more powerfully than you can imagine. This will not happen because you have gathered vast knowledge, but because you have deeply lived the very truths you speak. You will not speak of my comfort as some dry theory. Instead, you will tell of the real nights when I held you, and how you realized in the end that I had never left your side. And when you finally open your mouth to share your journey, weary hearts standing on the very edge of dark despair will receive a fresh, living hope. They will look at your life and realize that if I could perform such a miracle for you, I can certainly do the exact same for them. Your story will act like a key, unlocking the heavy, invisible chains binding the souls of those who listen. You are not just someone who has suffered useless pain. You are the sacred pathway I have chosen to carry my grace into the very places where you once lay, wishing someone would come find you. I have made you a flowing, vibrant stream, not a stagnant, dusty pond. The healing blessings that flow through you to others will in turn completely refresh your own soul. You are a bridge of love. You are a precious instrument held firmly in my hands. Yes, sometimes I must tighten your strings. Sometimes I must carefully remove the worn-out ones. And sometimes you must endure the jarring discomfort of off-key sounds. But all of this is done so that you can ultimately produce a much truer, more beautiful melody. Every single note in the song of your life, whether it is a low cry of sorrow or a high shout of joy, is something I know how to weave into a masterpiece that only you can play. What looks to your eyes right now like utter chaos, heavy confusion and thick fog will eventually be arranged by my hand into a clear path. I do not promise you the whole view by tomorrow, but I will always provide enough light for your very next step as we walk this road. You are going to find the meaning of your everyday life lifted up to a much higher, more sacred level. Terrifying fear will no longer occupy every corner of your thoughts, because it will be forced to yield to a powerful new awareness growing inside you. Your life has a profound, beautiful reason to exist, and I am the one who has been, is now, and will always continue using every single event, even the painful things you do not comprehend, to fully complete the work I first began in you. From this new place of strength, you will find the deep courage to open your eyes. You will not return to your old, safe ways of living, but you will walk forward as someone who knows with absolute certainty that you are held in the hands of the one who never leaves and never arrives too late. My dear child, I see clearly how tangled your heart is right now, filled with worries that smolder day after day and negative thoughts that follow you like a dark shadow. It makes every step feel incredibly heavy, and even the act of breathing feel exhausting. Yet in the very moments when you believe you are carrying this weight completely alone, I am quietly working behind the scenes, doing this one thing for you, little by little. I am loosening the tight, invisible cords that have kept your mind bound in fear. I am reaching down to touch the deepest, most sensitive places in your heart, the areas you have avoided for years, out of fear that touching them would only bring more pain. I have not come to judge or reproach you for being weak, my child. I have come to gently draw out of your heart the deep-seated seeds of fear that have taken root and grown there for far too long. The cruel voices of the past that told you that you are inferior and completely unworthy of love. When I touch those painful memories you locked away, it is never to make you relive the agony or blame yourself. I do it so that I can tenderly wipe away the thick dust covering the childlike heart that I loved long before you ever knew how to call my name. You have grown so accustomed to carrying this crushing weight that you have actually come to believe it is normal. But I say to you today, I never designed your soul to live forever in such a heavy state of weariness. I did not design you to live in constant panic, holding your breath as if the ground might shatter. I made you to breathe deeply, to walk steadily, and to face this life with a heart that no longer trembles in fear of being wounded again. Slowly, I am silencing those cruel whispers inside your mind and replacing them with my truth. Hear me now. You are not a burden. You are not a mistake, but my cherished child, whom I protect and hold close. I see every single time you pretend to be strong, while secretly wanting to give up. Right into that broken, exhausted place, I am pouring my peace. Not a peace that helps you escape reality, but a peace that empowers you to stand firm, even when nothing has changed yet. You were never meant to walk through this life bent double under the heavy burden of what other people think, hiding your eyes in shame because of the pain you have survived. I designed you to lift your head high, even when your eyes are overflowing with tears, and to boldly believe that your true value is not determined by human praise or harsh criticism. Your worth is anchored in one eternal truth. You belong to me. Yes, people have called you names that cut deep into your soul, and those razor-sharp words still echo in your memories. But let those ghosts go. The absolute final word over your life belongs to my voice alone, not to anyone who has ever sought to tear you down. Perhaps you have heard the lie too many times that you are nothing, that you are powerless, and that your future is a fading shadow. I want you to know that I completely reject those words. I watched you survive those pitch-black days when no one else was looking, and I counted every single tear you swallowed just to keep moving forward. Because I know your silent battles, I tell you with absolute certainty, your story will not end in perpetual fear. This moment is not a dead end, but a bridge. It is a divine turning point where my hand is actively shifting the direction of your life. You believed you were permanently trapped in this foggy, directionless season, but that is not your destiny. Hear my promise. You are going to emerge from this difficult season, and it will not be because you forced your way through in your own fragile strength, but because you were carried by mine. One day soon, you will look back at this rough road and stand amazed. You will realize that in the places where you saw only cold stones and barren gravel, I was carefully planting deep lessons, divine connections, and quiet comforts to rebuild you. Every single dark valley has a purpose. Not a single step you take falls into meaningless space when your hand is secure in mine. Even in this very moment, as you open your heart to my voice, unseen chains are snapping off your soul. Those toxic patterns of thinking that keep dragging you down into shame and self-condemnation are being touched and dismantled by my hand right now. You thought you would have to carry these heavy, obsessive thoughts for the rest of your life, but I am patiently untying every single knot, even if you cannot feel the release just yet. I am never in a rush, but I am never idle either. My spirit is working within you with gentle persistence, like a master physician who tends to the tiniest scratch, overlooking nothing and rejecting nothing. You believe you can never escape the internal prison of guilt and suspicion, but I am unlocking those heavy doors one by one. I will never use force against you, nor will I ever drag you roughly out of your hiding place. Instead, I gently take your hand and walk with you into the warm light, guiding you to slowly relearn how to trust again. This healing will not happen overnight, but through every small step, every quiet prayer, and every moment you dare to be completely honest with me about your deepest fears. I know the agonizing pain of being betrayed by those you relied on, and how it felt to be stabbed in the back by people who swore they would never leave. I understand why you built those massive walls around your heart, refusing to let anyone get close ever again. I do not judge or blame you for being so guarded. I know exactly why you had to build those high stone walls just to survive the storms. But I did not come to shatter your spirit. I have come to gently dismantle those barriers so that you can live fully protected by me without being trapped in cold isolation. I do not expect you to trust the world all at once. I only ask you to take the first step of trusting me. Together we will walk through this, and I will show you who is safe, who you need to let go, and who I am bringing to lift you up. You are not defined by the scars others left on you, nor are you defined by your own mistakes. Your identity is found in my eyes when I look at you, and my gaze is filled with endless love. I do not view you as a walking mistake or a disaster waiting to happen. In my eyes, you are a precious masterpiece in progress, not a defective product of a cruel world. I've called you by your name. I've searched for you, and I'm the one who reaches down to lift you up every time you believe you have hit absolute rock bottom. Think of how many times I quietly stepped in to block you from running down dangerous, destructive paths. I've shut doors that seemed beautiful to you, but only because I saw the hidden traps and deep pain waiting on the other side. I've removed people and relationships from your life that felt like blessings, but were actually dangerous traps. I know you wept and wondered why things did not go your way, but if you could see the grand design as I do, you would realize those painful losses were actually my protection, saving you from complete destruction. The fact that you are sitting here today, breathing, listening, and being given a fresh start is not a matter of luck. It is because my protective hand has been over you. If you could see every hidden rescue and every invisible blessing I placed in your darkest moments, your heart would be too full of wonder to ever complain again. You would feel an overwhelming, genuine gratitude flooding your soul. Not a superficial, polite thankfulness, but a deep, trembling wonder that comes when you realize how many times you thought you were completely finished. Yet here you are, still standing strong. I'm not demanding that you transform into a perfect person overnight. I'm simply inviting you to take tiny steps of faith. Step away from the lie that I do not love you, and silence the thought that your life will never go any further than this. Lay down the labels that people have placed on your shoulders, and let my words define who you are from this day forward. Every single day that you make the conscious choice to trust my voice just a little bit more, the heavy burden pressing down on your shoulders will grow lighter, and my blessing will begin to flow through you like a clear river. My dream for you is not merely to survive or gasp for air. I want you to truly, vibrantly live. I want you to walk through each day knowing deep in your bones that you are cherished, guarded, and commissioned by me. Every piece of your story, both the sweetest joys and the deepest sorrows, is being turned into a sacred medicine that I will use to heal and restore others who are suffering, just like you did. Once you truly grasp this truth, you will stop viewing your existence through the painful lens of a victim. Instead, you will see that I have been weaving your life to become a powerful, living witness. You will be a testimony to my fierce love, a love that never abandons, never walks away, and never grows weary of healing your repeated wounds. As you walk this path, I will remain right by your side. I will keep setting you free, pulling up the roots of fear, and pouring out my deep peace, until you can look back with a smile and say, "Thank you, Lord," because even the things that made no sense to me, you have used to rescue me and make me brand new. Let me assure you, your story does not end here. What you are looking at right now is merely the very first page of a beautiful book that I am writing for your life. I know about those bright dreams you folded up and hid away, the desperate prayers you thought fell silently to the ground, and the deep desires you buried because you thought your turn would never come. You think those hopes are dead and gone, but I have kept them safe in my presence, waiting for the perfect moment. I never plant a seed in your heart only to abandon it. If there is a delay, it is only because I know that if those blessings arrived too early, they would crush you instead of help you grow. Now that your heart has softened and your eyes are fixed on me rather than your overwhelming circumstances, I am starting to untie the knots I kept tight for so long. Prepare to be amazed as heavy doors that were locked cold for years suddenly swing open with a gentle touch, as if a key was never even needed. The pathways you thought were permanently blocked will become wide and clear, kept in perfect reserve just for you. Even those who once ignored you and made you feel invisible will suddenly look you in the eyes, call you by your name, and seek your wisdom. I am bringing you out of the shadows, and they will honor you as if you had always belonged at the center. In every single area where you have suffered through dry seasons of lack, whether in your finances, your relationships, your career, or that quiet validation your soul craves, I am going to bring a beautiful fullness. I will not do this with loud dramatics, but so clearly and beautifully that you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that no human hands could have put this together. I am going to transition you from a dry wilderness of scarcity into a land of overflowing abundance. This is not so you can brag about your own strength, but so you will know with complete certainty that my endless stream of grace is flowing through you, and that my well will never run dry. I do not pour out these blessings because you are flawless or because you have earned them more than others. No, this all flows from my deep kindness and my unyielding faithfulness. I keep the promises I make to myself, and I fiercely guard the covenant I have established with you. I will never stop loving you, even in your moments of deepest doubt, exhaustion, or when you feel like letting go of my hand. As you step into this beautiful, lighter season, where things finally begin to fall into place, hold tight to this one truth. Everything I pour into your life is not just to make you comfortable, but so that through your restored soul, others will see my light and find their way home to me. When I reach down to lift you up from the dust, it is not so you can build yourself a tiny, fragile throne and sit upon it in comfortable isolation. I do not rescue you just for your own comfort. No, I raise you up so that you might become a breathing, living signpost in a dark world, pointing the broken-hearted directly back to me. I want the lost to look at you and know that hope is still alive. And when I bind your wounds and heal your brokenness, it is not just so your personal story ends happily with the pain gone. I heal you so that those who are still bleeding can look at your closed, beautiful scars and dare to believe that they too can be made whole. When the blessings start to pour into your life, when long closed doors suddenly swing open and healthy relationships begin to surround you, listen to me closely. When you feel the thrill of new steps forward and receive favors you cannot explain, do not let your heart grow cold and careless. Never forget those agonizing nights when you wept alone in the dark, calling my name in sheer exhaustion. Do not let the world praise you while your heart secretly whispers, "I earned this," as if you climbed this mountain alone. Pride is a quiet thief. It slips in through silent thoughts of self-congratulation, making you look down on those who are still struggling, keeping you silent about my grace while you talk endlessly about yourself. I want you to always remember this truth. The beautiful things, the gentleness, deep gratitude, and quiet humility have patiently built during your hardest seasons can be completely shattered by just a single moment of self-exaltation. Yes, I may elevate you. I may place you in higher positions, grant you greater influence, and give you a powerful voice to speak to many. But remember, As I lift you up, I will also carefully teach you the sacred art of bowing low. I do this to protect you, for only those who truly know how to bend their knees and humble themselves before me can stand unshaken when the fierce temptations of pride and power come rushing in with that very promotion. In the secret, quiet shadow of my protection, when you choose to obey me even though nobody is watching, that is where real power is born. When you keep your heart pure, though no one is singing your praises, and when you speak the absolute truth, even when it costs you everything, you are unlocking the deepest strength of your soul. Do not mistake this strength for the power to control others or force them to listen to your voice. True spiritual strength is the quiet ability to stand perfectly upright when the winds of life shift violently. It is the unshakable peace you feel when everything around you is falling apart. And it is a love that refuses to die even when you are completely misunderstood. Listen to me. You are not hearing these words by accident. In a world drowning in constant noise, it is no coincidence that you stopped here. I personally arranged this moment for you to pause and listen, because I know you are standing at the edge of a great threshold. This is not a cheap message meant to briefly comfort you. This is a divine call designed to awaken the deepest chambers of your soul, the parts you allowed to fall asleep because you were too terrified to hope and be hurt again. I am brushing away the dust from the fire that once burned so brightly inside you, reviving the holy dreams you abandoned just to stay safe. That sudden sting in your eyes is your faith rising from the grave of your doubts. Hear me clearly. I do not promise that your road ahead will be perfectly smooth and free of all hardship. I am a God of truth, and I never make peace with comfortable lies. But I promise you this: the very moment you decide to answer my voice, to trust me completely, and to walk deeper into my presence, the battles you face will change. You will no longer fight like an exhausted survivor, just trying to scrape through the day. Instead, you will stand tall, as someone who is deeply trusted, divinely equipped, and sent out with an eternal purpose. Even your prayers will shift. You will stop pleading, "Please just get me out of this." And instead, you will ask me to use your pain as a bridge to bring hope to others. From this moment on, you will work with a completely different heart. You will no longer labor just to earn a paycheck and survive, but you will carry my holy presence directly into the marketplaces and offices where I have placed you. You will love people differently too. The old, draining, demanding way of loving will fade, replaced by a pure love that is patient, proactive, and always ready to forgive. Every blessing I release over your life, every open career door, every family breakthrough, and every painful but beautiful character change is designed to mold you into the exact masterpiece I sketched before the foundation of the world. So watch closely, for I am speaking to you with urgency. I ask you to keep your heart incredibly soft and tender before me. Learn to cherish the tiniest whispers of my grace, and never forget to cry out my name in times of absolute joy, just as you do in times of bitter tears. When you live this way, the faith inside you will transform. It will no longer be a fleeting emotional wave, but a steady, roaring fire that illuminates your path and warms the souls of those I am bringing to you. It is right out of the torn, messy pages of your life story that I am reviving your faith. I know you thought it had completely gone out, that it was just a hazy, distant memory. But I'm breathing on those dead embers right now, sparking something eternal. This new faith has been forged in the hottest fire and thoroughly tested in your bitterest tears. It is a faith that has asked hard questions, walked through thick doubt, and wanted to completely throw in the towel. Yet, in the ultimate moment, it still chose to cling desperately to me when there was absolutely nothing else to hold. I watched you on those dark nights, when you could only whisper a few broken, weak words. Those awkward, desperate prayers were the exact seeds I planted deep within your soul. While you thought you were just barely surviving the day, my hands were quietly tending your roots, softening the hard ground of your heart and preparing you to stand tall once again. So I tell you now, prepare your heart, because the ancient promises I whisper to you have never been erased from my book. I've kept them safe, guarded in my hands until the perfect season arrives, not to overwhelm you, but to grow and mature your spirit. In the days that are coming, you will no longer sit on the sidelines, listening to others tell testimonies of my goodness and grace. No, you will be the one walking directly in those miracles yourself. You will live the very stories that you once believed were only meant for people who were far more spiritual, far more gifted, or somehow more deserving than you could ever hope to be. Think of those deep prayers you crossed off your list years ago, the ones you abandoned because you thought the clock had run out, that it was simply too late. I am bringing those forgotten cries back to your heart, not to bring you regret, but to prove that I never forgot a single whisper you breathed in the dark. But do not look for my response in the loud, flashy spectacles the world loves to display. What I am building for you will arrive as gently as the morning dawn. There will be no deafening thunder, just a quiet, persistent light that gradually, beautifully dispels the heavy darkness you had slowly learned to accept as your home. My work begins deep within you, by transforming the way you look at yourself, shifting how you talk about your trials, and rewriting your very definition of hope. One morning, you will open your eyes and realize that a profound miracle has occurred. It will not be because the world outside has suddenly become flawless, but because the dry, barren wasteland inside your soul has started to bloom. You will notice that your vocabulary has shifted. You will stop repeating those old, damaging lies that you are just mediocre, or that you can never get anything right. Instead, you will boldly declare my truth, that you are deeply loved, carefully chosen, and intentionally sent. I want you to know that you are not some accidental leftover of a chaotic world. You are an essential part of a grand design that I have meticulously calculated down to the smallest detail. I am going to wash your eyes clean of the dust of fear and inferiority that has blinded you for so long. You will begin to clearly see my hand moving in the most ordinary moments, in a casual conversation with a neighbor, in a job you once thought had nothing sacred about it, or in a sudden small opportunity that opens up a massive new territory. My Holy Spirit is not coming as a brief passing breeze, just to give you goosebumps for a moment. My Spirit will patiently rewrite line by line the way you think, how you react, how you love, and how you forgive your deepest wounds. What once caused your legs to tremble with terror will become the exact ground where you learn to stand with unshakable strength. Those painful memories you desperately wanted to erase from your mind will be tenderly touched and healed by my hand. I will transform your deepest agony into a powerful story that offers comfort to others who are falling into the same dark pit you once escaped. The massive barrier that once blocked your path and made you think your life was limited will become a monument of my grace, a marker declaring, "Here is where I stepped in." From that day forward, every single time you look back at your past, the heavy shame will be gone. Instead, your heart will overflow with gratitude because you see how I rescued you from destroying yourself. The dark, terrifying thoughts of a tragic end will dissolve into a beautiful realization that with me, no single page of your life is ever meaningless. There are only pages that have not yet been finished. You will learn to smile, a true, genuine smile once again. It won't be that fake, exhausted smile you wear to pretend that everything is fine. No, it will rise from the deepest part of your soul, because you know my hand is holding yours, guiding you, and trusting you with my kingdom. You will dare to believe again, but this time, your belief won't be a transactional attempt to trade your faith for the things you want. It will be a deep, unshakable faith that springs purely from knowing exactly who I am. No matter how wildly your circumstances shift, this true faith will cause you to look at the very places of your deepest weeping with a completely transformed attitude. Instead of crying out, "Why did this happen to me?" you will look up and ask, "Lord, do you want to teach me through this pain? And whose broken heart do you want me to heal with this story?" As you ask this, you will step boldly into the brand new season I am opening wide for you. You are going to notice something absolutely beautiful. The blessings and healing I pour into your life will never stop inside the four walls of your own home. I am going to draw exhausted souls, shattered hearts, and people standing on the very edge of dark despair straight toward your life. I am not doing this because you are superior to them or because you have it all figured out. I am doing it because you are the one who can look them in the eyes and say with absolute truth, "I have been exactly where you are standing right now, and let me show you how my God brought me out of the darkness." You will find your heart swelling with deep, supernatural empathy for everyone around you. The very things you once passed by without a second thought will now compel you to halt in your tracks. I am turning your eyes to see your ears, to listen, your heart to intercede, and your hands to reach out in mercy. Every small gesture, every text, every moment you sacrifice will become a sacred offering. I am taking what you once hid in shame, your deepest stains, and transforming them into bridges to draw broken souls closer to my embrace. Only a heart that has been cracked wide open and tenderly healed by my hand can truly comfort another. You will see that salvation is not just an escape from pain, but an invitation to join me in my work. No longer will you pray only for your own comfort, begging me for just enough peace to survive. Instead, you will learn to speak prayers that stretch far beyond the horizon of your own eyes, crying out to me, "Use me, Father, according to your perfect will." You will ask me to take your past trials and turn them into a lifeline for another struggling soul. Do not fear, for these prayers of surrender will never diminish you. Rather, they unlock a life of deep meaning, clear direction, and divine purpose, saving you from drifting aimlessly in the world's empty currents. Together, you and I will step into a season where each sunrise is no longer a burden to endure, but a fresh page we are ready to write. I will guide you to the small, hidden doors you once ignored, showing you how a simple, everyday job can become a sanctuary where you reveal my spirit to those around you. I am preparing your imperfect family to be the rich soil where you will sow my seeds of unconditional love and deep forgiveness. There, in that small, quiet circle of people, I am teaching you how to endure, how to walk hand in hand, and how to lift each other up when the road gets steep. You are going to realize that life's most beautiful season is not marked by the loud applause of this world. It is found when you walk in your true calling, aligned with the divine rhythm I have custom built for you, allowing my blessings to flow through you naturally and without any strain. When I bring restoration to your life, I do not merely patch over the holes or sweep the mess under the rug to make things look pretty from the outside. My work in you goes far deeper than a quick cosmetic repair to make you look presentable to the onlookers of this world. I am reaching down to touch your roots, resetting your foundations, correcting your course, and reshaping your deepest dreams until you are completely made new. I do not merely hand you the broken pieces of your past and expect you to glue them back together with your own fragile strength. No. With my own hands, I am fashioning a beautiful new shape, a redemption story, and a fresh current in your life. A day is coming when you will look at yourself in wonder and whisper, "Is this really me?" Yes, it is. But it is you, fully transformed by my sovereign grace. Indeed, it is still you, but you are now the one whom I have intimately touched, gently guided, and taught to love, to trust, to live, and to give with a mature and steadfast heart. This new creation is not some far-off, unrealistic dream. It began the exact moment you stopped running away from my presence. The very second you dared to be honest with me about your terrifying fears, your secret pain, and your heaviest shame. I heard you, and I began my work within you in that very instant. I am actively working in your soul right now in this very moment, and I promise you that I will carry it through until the day it is completely finished and perfected. You do not have to carry the heavy burden of managing every detail of your life on your own. Your only task is to yield to my touch, to let me continue shaping you, and to take simple, obedient steps in response to my word. One day, when you look back at the winding path behind you, your heart will overflow, and you will exclaim, "If it had not been for my Lord, I could never have become who I am today." In that moment, your joy will be boundless, and those who have watched your quiet struggle will realize that no life is ever hopeless in my hands. They will see what happens when a soul simply lets me keep writing their story. Even now, you might feel like you are standing still, watching the days pass by in endless repetition. Yet beneath the surface, in the quiet spaces where you feel absolutely nothing is happening, something incredibly beautiful is taking shape. It is a silent, relentless work, growing without noise and without needing the validation or applause of anyone else. Think of it like the massive root system of a mighty tree, buried deep beneath the cold soil, completely invisible to the eye and silent to the ear. Those roots are quietly stretching downward, digging deeper, searching for living water, and anchoring you for a season of growth so powerful that no storm will ever be able to uproot you. That is exactly what my spirit is doing in the hidden depths of your soul right now. I know you look around and see the same unchanging landscape, the same familiar faces, the same recurring hardships, the same heavy worries, and the same quiet, unanswered questions. But from where I stand, I see a profound shift taking place. You are no longer the same person you were just yesterday. The trials that once had the power to completely crush your spirit no longer hold dominion over you. The harsh words that once wounded you for a whole week have faded into distant, powerless echoes that can no longer define your worth. The deep hurts that made you close your heart are turning into beautiful scars, quiet proof that you survived. This strength does not come from your own human willpower. This is the unmistakable signature of my spirit working within you, gently shifting your thoughts, comforting your tender wounds, and ordering your chaotic priorities in a way you never could. In the presence of my spirit, fear loses its authority to shout at you. It is reduced to a pathetic whisper, and you have finally learned to ignore it and run back to the shelter of my comforting voice. My child, stop telling yourself that you are weak. You have survived storms that would have completely broken you in the past. You have endured the sleepless nights, the heavy, tearful mornings, and the days when your soul was utterly exhausted. Yet in all of it, you still chose to hold tightly to me. Sometimes your only prayer was a fragile, desperate cry. Lord, please do not leave me. I want you to know that those whispered words, spoken when you had absolutely no idea what I was doing, moved my heart more than you will ever comprehend. I am never swayed by elegant, polished prayers that come only from the lips and not the soul. Instead, I am deeply moved by the raw, clumsy, and honest cries of a wounded heart that still dares to reach for me in the midst of total confusion. I cherish my children, who in their deepest pain do not run away from me, but instead come stumbling back to my arms with trembling steps, tear-stained cheeks, and minds full of desperate questions. You have come back to me in this way time and time again, and though you think it is nothing of importance, let me tell you that every single tear you shed is treasured in heaven. I hear every heavy sigh of your chest, Never have I turned my face away from your crying, and never for a single second have I closed my ears to your grief. Sometimes I answer your bleeding wounds with silence rather than words, because some deep hurts cannot be healed by explanations. They can only be bandaged slowly by my quiet, loving presence. When the entire world is too busy to care, I remain the sanctuary where you can lay your weary head, fully known and entirely free from judgment. On those days when you feel utterly invisible, lost in a sea of faces and completely forgotten, I whisper your name. I look at you like a tender father who sees and remembers his beloved child even among a crowd of millions. I know there are desires you thought were completely dead and dreams you buried deep in the earth, promising yourself you would never speak of them again to avoid being hurt. But hear me. I have not thrown those dreams away. I am keeping them safe in a place untouched by time, waiting for the perfect moment to return them to your hands, beautifully reshaped, fully matured, and crafted to bless your soul in ways you cannot yet imagine. You feel as though everything has been lost, but the truth is, I have intentionally set certain things aside to protect you from blessings that were not yet ripe for your life. I do not take things away from you as a punishment. I merely reserve my very best for you, holding them safe until your soul has grown strong enough to carry them without being crushed by their weight. Even though your human eyes cannot see it yet, in the spiritual realm, a glorious new season has already been set in motion. The great gears of your destiny, which you believed were rusted and frozen forever, are beginning to turn once again, moving smoothly and with divine, unstoppable purpose. It is by no means an accident that you have felt an indescribable stirring in your heart lately, a quiet call to rise and step out of the waiting room of your life. That persistent whisper, saying, "Maybe God still has a plan for me," is no illusion. It is the very signal I am sending to you, a sign that my spirit is breathing fresh, vibrant life into the dry bones you thought were dead forever. Already you are starting to notice that you do not react to trials the way you used to. You do not crumble under pressure as quickly, nor do you rush to blame yourself for every failure. Instead, you are learning to pause, bringing your questions to me before seeking the counsel of this world. These inner shifts may seem small and quiet to you, but in my eyes, they represent a monumental turning point. They show that the roots of your faith have run deep into my love, moving past the shallow soil of fleeting emotions and temporary feelings. In this season, I'm carefully realigning every single step you take, even if your daily routine looks completely unchanged to those around you. The compass of your heart has shifted. You used to live in constant fear of dreaming, believing that hoping for something good would only lead to bitter disappointment. You were terrified of opening up your heart, convinced that trusting anyone would only leave you wounded and exposed. You used to fear joy itself, always waiting for the other shoe to drop, terrified that any moment of happiness would be cruelly snatched away. I have felt every single one of those fears with you. I watched you curl in on yourself like someone shivering after a violent storm, pressed flat against a wall, only daring to watch life happen from a safe distance. But my precious child, the season I am leading you into now is not a time for you to sit on the sidelines anymore. This time, I am the one guiding your feet step by step. You will no longer be led by your erratic emotions, your sudden impulses, or the hollow and deceptive promises of the world around you. I will not permit you to fall back into the exhausting, painful cycles that you no longer have the strength to endure. I am pulling you out of the monotonous loop of survival, opening your eyes to realize that you were created for so much more than merely existing. You were made to love deeply, to give freely, and to stand as a living testament that my restoration is real. Every decision you make, no matter how small, is being used by my hand to bring your heart into perfect harmony with my goodness. While you may not see the entire road ahead, you will recognize the next step when it appears. because it will not fill you with anxiety, but will lead you straight into my peace. My child, this sacred calling of mine does not demand that you struggle to prove your worth to me. Instead, it is a gentle invitation for you to lay down your heavy armor and trust in my endless love. You and I are embarking on a path where you will never have to walk alone again. I cannot promise that your path will be entirely free of sorrow, but I do promise that the weight of your pain will never be carried in isolation. No longer will you stumble in the dark, trying to guess the way forward, or relying on your own fragile, exhausted strength. I am walking right beside you. I march ahead of you to clear the road, and I stand behind you as your shield. I envelop you completely, so that the fears that once crushed your hope will fade into nothing but a distant memory. Watch closely, for I am causing the barren sands of your dry season to bloom with life, turning your heap of cold ashes into a masterpiece of breathtaking beauty. Your weeping is turning into a joyful new song. The abundant blessings that were once locked away, trapped like a rushing river behind the heavy boulders of your past hurts and lingering fears, are finally being released. As you let me lay my healing hand upon your deepest, most tender wounds, I am slowly rolling those massive stones aside so my living water can flow freely once more. And once those floodgates are open, you will not just find your own thirsty soul deeply satisfied, but you will overflow, becoming a wellspring of life and refreshment for all the weary, parched souls around you. From the very beginning, my ultimate plan has been to rescue you, mend your brokenness, and make your life a living proof of my grace for a world that is starving for hope. I want you to quiet your mind, my precious child, and ponder this deeply. If your faith is truly anchored in me, you will trust me not just when skies are clear, but also when you hold my hand in the middle of ruined plans. Not a single wound in your life is ever wasted. The heavy blows that brought you to your knees, the losses that carved an empty void deep inside you, the painful separations, and the dreams that crumbled to dust, none of these are garbage to me. In my hands, they are the very pieces I use to build something new. With tender care, I gather up every single broken fragment of your life, gently brushing away the tears that still cling to them, and begin placing them into a magnificent new design that is currently hidden from your eyes. Right now, you can only look out and see a thick, grey fog. But behind the scenes, I am silently fitting each piece together into a masterpiece of lasting significance. Your suffering brings me no joy, yet I refuse to let any ounce of your pain go to waste. Every tear you shed is carefully counted and remembered by me. This is not to remind you of your fragile moments or your past weaknesses, but to serve as absolute proof that through every storm, there was never a single second when you were left to struggle in the dark by yourself. Though the memory of the nights you wept yourself to sleep might fade from your mind, they remain forever etched in mine. You might feel like your life has been shattered beyond repair, but I am the author of your days, and I have not written the final sentence of your story. This season is simply a pause, one that has lasted much longer than you ever planned. Let us make this pause count, because you and I know that I am never idle. I am deep at work beneath the surface, strengthening the foundations of your heart where no human eye can see. When the time comes for you to step forward, you will stand strong, ready to lift up the weary souls who are trembling today, just like you were. It is so easy to blame yourself for the years you think you wasted, mourning the youth that slipped through your fingers, and the golden opportunities that vanished due to poor choices. You look back at that lost time and see nothing but regret, screaming, if only, into the silence. But I'm asking you to give those years a brand new name today. Where you see a barren, empty void, I see the quiet backstage of your life, the precise classroom where I have been teaching you profound truths. These are lessons that no textbook could ever contain, no human advice could ever offer, and no amount of worldly success could ever teach you. Your quiet wilderness was actually my secret training ground. During those long stretches when you felt completely lost, I was quietly using that stillness to reveal the hidden gaps in your heart and show you where your path had drifted. I designed those dark, heavy seasons specifically to train your eyes to seek out even the tiniest glimmer of my light. By letting you experience painful loss and disadvantage, I wanted to remind you that your value is never defined by winning or losing. You might brand those chapters as a dark, terrible past, but I see them as fertile soil that has been deeply plowed and broken up, perfectly prepared for new growth. That is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm planting new seeds, rebuilding what was broken, and rearranging your life with a patience that exceeds your wildest imagination. In your eyes, your life is nothing but a scorched, blackened foundation left behind by a devastating fire. But in my eyes, that empty, cleared space is the perfect ground on which to build a brand new home, because all the rotting structures of your past have finally been cleared away. You will not dwell in these ashes forever. You are going to rise and step forward. There is a day coming when you will look back and find it hard to believe that this very place of ruin was where you once thought your story had ended. I know your heart cries out to me in the quiet hours, asking why I did not step in to prevent the tragedy, why I let you go through such deep, agonizing pain in the first place. Your questions arise because your view is limited, seeing only a tiny, narrow curve of the road ahead of you. I do not judge or scold you for your doubts, for I know how deeply exhausted your soul has become. But you must understand that if I were to instantly remove every obstacle that hurts you, you would never realize the true scale of what you have been rescued from. It was those painful wounds that slowed you down, stopping your feet from rushing headlong into glittering traps that would have destroyed you. Those bitter disappointments were actually my way of severing unhealthy attachments that would have bound your spirit until you no longer recognized your own reflection. While I am never the author of evil pain or brokenness, I am the ultimate master at weaving your worst experiences into a beautiful story of restoration. You and I know that the enemy designed these trials to shatter your spirit, but I'm using them to prove to the entire universe that absolutely no force can tear you from my hands when you let me hold you close. This is not some cheap, positive thinking designed to ease your mind. It is my literal, active power working in your life. I do not expect you to wear a fake smile while your wounds are still fresh and bleeding. I only ask that you raise your head, look past this current horizon, and realize that while your suffering is temporary, my covenant of love will never end. A quiet, heavy anxiety often whispers to your heart, telling you that you are running out of time, that you have fallen too far behind, and that my ancient promises have expired due to your mistakes. But remember, my child, I am not a human being who changes his mind as the years roll by, nor do I tear up the beautiful script of your life just because you stumbled. What I began in you, I have the infinite power and patience to finish. I can restore those empty, wasted years in ways that will leave you breathless. Do not expect me to simply hand back your old life, because many of those things were quietly toxic to your soul. I am preparing something infinitely better, crafted by my grace to truly nourish and sustain you for eternity. Rather than giving you temporary comforts, I am gifting you with treasures that are deeper, truer, and built to last forever. These trials are maturing your spirit, softening your heart without crushing it, and teaching you to anchor your faith in me rather than in fleeting outcomes. A day is fast approaching when you will look back on this season and whisper through tears of joy, "The waiting was never wasted." You will see that every single tear had a purpose, because it brought you face to face with what is truly real. Pain itself holds no beauty, but it is in the deepest dark of your pain that you have reached out and touched my hand more intimately than ever before. That divine connection is what fills those lost years with absolute meaning. This is my urgent, loving plea to you. Do not let go of my hand right when the dawn is about to break. I do not use the word plead because I lack strength, but because I can see the glorious future waiting just over the horizon if you will only hold on a little longer. You might feel as though you are just dragging your bruised feet through the final yards of a meaningless road. But from where I stand, you are on the very brink of a massive turning point. One more step is all it takes, even if it is slow, wet with tears, and shaking with fear. That single step is enough to unveil a brand new sky. You do not have to make a giant leap. You only need to keep facing forward and refuse to run back. With every tiny trembling step you take toward me, I am running with great passion to meet you where you are. You see yourself barely moving, struggling to gain even an inch, while I am quickly closing the distance between us with urgent love. You and I are bonded by a cord that can never be broken. Every time you turn your face to mine, every whisper of my name, every honest cry of your heart, admitting your absolute weakness and desire to quit, is a holy victory. These moments are the sturdy rungs on a ladder, pulling you out of the dark pit you thought you were trapped in forever. You cannot fathom the place of safety and the eternal inheritance I have built for you, a reward that no demon, no accuser, and no earthly power can ever snatch away. This sanctuary I have designed for you is not a high throne of pride to look down on others, but a quiet sanctuary where you can finally put your heavy burdens down and stop pretending to be strong. I have prepared a lavish banquet to nourish your exhausted soul right in the middle of all the noise and chaos surrounding you. It is a secure place where your enemies may watch from a distance, but they cannot touch you or disrupt your peace. When you finally decide to enter this resting place and let me bind up your wounds, you will see the grand design clearly. You will realize that every painful detour, every hard fall, and every cold, lonely night was actually a guiding light leading you straight back home to my heart. Do not believe the lie that I enjoy seeing you broken at my feet. I brought you to this low place so you could finally grasp the infinite depth of my love. In this quiet space, you will begin to understand that what you once cursed as an unfair punishment was actually my protective wall, shielding you from paths that would have utterly destroyed your soul. The isolation you mistook for abandonment was actually my hand, drawing you away from toxic influences that were silently draining your spirit. And that painful ending you thought was a final stop was actually the moment I flipped the page to start a glorious new chapter, one free from past regrets, where you are defined not by your failures, but by the endless ocean of love I pour over you daily. My commitment to you is an unbreakable covenant, not some cheap, empty promise made to make you feel good for a moment, but an eternal decree written in my own blood. Unlike human beings, who promise the world today and forget you tomorrow, I am never swayed by changing moods or passing seasons. I do not love you more when you succeed, nor do I love you less when you fail. My devotion to you is not tracked on some scoreboard of performance, and it will never fall apart because of your weaknesses. You and I share a bond that is eternal and absolute. I love you simply because you are my precious child, and nothing in heaven or on earth can ever change that truth. Long before you even knew my name, my eyes were already fixed upon you, watching your every breath. When your feet slip and you fall, I do not look away. Instead, I feel the sharp sting of your pain. You are never someone to be thrown aside or forgotten. Even when you turn your back on me, I do not lock the gates. I simply stand by the open door, waiting patiently for you to find your way back home. In your deepest confusion, I am right there, whispering comfort and guiding you through the storm. I know it is hard for you to receive a love like this, since you are used to affections that come with conditions. But I am here to tell you that my love is different, unlike anything you have ever known. My love is not like human love that makes empty promises only to forget them, nor do I ever give a gift only to snatch it back. I will never push you away simply because you think you are not good enough yet. Let your past trials become something far greater than just a source of pain. Let those valleys stand as proof that I walked right beside you all the way down to the deepest depths. When the day comes to share your story, do not speak only of the suffering you endured. Tell them about me, the one who sat beside you in that dark room. When you look at your old scars, do not just remember the mistakes you made. Remember my hand, the gentle hand that bandaged your wounds and lifted you up when you had no strength left. Every single loss you have endured, every forced halt, and every long delay can become the opening lines of an entirely new life. I am building a life for you that is no longer about merely surviving the day, but about knowing you are sent by me to love others, to lift them up, and to bear witness to my grace. This is the way I restore you. I do not do it by taking you back to the starting line, as though nothing ever happened, but by making you different, deeper, gentler, and far stronger than before. Through all of these shifts, there is one constant that will never change, no matter where you find yourself standing today. Whether you feel worthy of me or not, I still have only one thing to whisper to you. I love you. That is all. And I will never, ever take those words back. Listen to me. I know far better than anyone else all those hidden parts of your life you desperately wish you could erase from existence. I know the decisions that make your chest tighten with hot shame every single time they drift back into your memory. I remember the times you deliberately turned your back on me and walked away, and the moments you were so deeply offended or wounded that you let bitter accusations pour from your lips, words you would never dare repeat to anyone now. Through every single one of those moments, I was right there. I witnessed everything you did, and I never once turned my face away from you in disgust. I saw it all, and my love for you did not waver for a single second. You often believe that your impulsive choices and your sudden falls into darkness have discouraged me. But my child, my love for you is not a fragile thing that shatters under a few dark chapters. I do not look away from you just because you have stumbled on the path. I do not draw back my hand just because you feel you no longer look worthy in your own eyes. My heart does not shift or sway with the turbulent ups and downs of your emotions. I know that you change, that you grow hot and cold, and that you are often inconsistent in your devotion. Yet through all of your shifting seasons, my love remains completely steady. It is like a quiet, unshakable anchor, and you can always return to it. When your soul is in its most tangled state, you often picture me as a cold judge who only takes notes of your failures, waiting for the day to settle the score. Whenever you go against your conscience, you run to hide in the shadows, keeping silent and cutting off prayer because you dread the sound of my voice. But you do not realize that I am not sitting on a distant throne, watching for your next mistake just so I can punish you. I am a God of deep compassion. I am the one who bends down to pick up every shattered, broken piece of your life that you have dropped, even the fragments you hate so much you want to bury them forever. I do not trample them in anger. I gather them close, gently wipe away the dust, and begin to mold them into a beautiful new shape. To your eyes, those broken pieces look like nothing more than a pile of useless fragments. But in my hands, they are the raw material for a story unlike any other. While you see yourself as completely ruined, I see a magnificent work of art that is still in progress. I am never afraid to step back to make adjustments, or even to start over from the very beginning, if that is what it takes, as long as you are able to stand secure in my love. I know there are chapters in your life you wish you could rip out, and stretches of memory you want to lock away in a dark room and pretend they never existed. You wish you had never trusted those who hurt you, that you had not walked down the wrong paths, and that you had not traded your heart away so cheaply. But listen closely, my child, because when those very same dark chapters are touched by my grace, they will transform into the pages you look back on with the deepest gratitude. I do not sweep your mistakes under the rug, nor do I pretend there were no painful consequences. But I have the power to take the seasons you are most ashamed of and turn them into the dark backdrop that makes my mercy shine even more brilliantly. While I do not condone the wrong choices you have made, I have never once abandoned the masterpiece that bears your name. You are making a mistake when you assume your story has reached its final page, just because you have survived a long stretch of tragedy. The truth is, the book of your life is far from finished. It is still actively being written. I am the unchanging author of your days, carefully crafting every sentence, every line, and every complex chapter with a loving intention that you cannot yet see or understand. There are many nights when you sit alone in the dark, staring back at the road you have traveled, and whisper to yourself that you have wrecked everything and left nothing to be saved. You speak with such finality, as if you have the authority to decide how your story ends. But while I am the one who sees the entire picture from the beginning to the end, you are standing in the middle of a crooked, winding path, looking at a single bend and declaring there is no way forward. If you would only lift your eyes, you would see that I am already standing ahead of you, waiting at the intersections your vision cannot yet reach. You are convinced that whenever you do wrong, every beautiful promise I ever made to you is instantly crossed off and cancelled. But I am not a human being. I do not change my mind just because your feet slipped. I do not get discouraged or give up on you the way people do. I knew every single one of your missteps before you ever took them, and I still chose to write those golden promises into your story. I did this because I knew a day would come when you would desperately need a home to return to and something completely unshakable to hold on to, so you would not be swept away. I see how exhausted you are from carrying the heavy weight of all that guilt, dragging it behind you like a chain. You cling to every single painful memory as if it were a punishment you must constantly inflict upon yourself. In your mind, you think that if you just blame yourself long enough and hard enough, you will eventually become worthy of my forgiveness. But my child, that is not how my kingdom works. I do not require you to pay for your mistakes by drowning in self-hatred just to prove that your repentance is real. All I ask of you is to believe that my love is vast enough and deep enough to enter the very rooms of your heart that you believe no one else would ever dare to touch. I am asking you to loosen your grip on that heavy burden, not so you can wander off and live carelessly, but so you can finally yield to me the place I truly deserve in your heart. I want to be your healer, not another pointing finger or accusing voice. It is plain to see that you cannot survive if you keep dragging this dark shadow of your past behind you. Why then do you refuse to let me cut the very rope that is tightening around your throat? Why do you cling to your pain as if misery were the only inheritance you deserve? Take a moment right now to stop and draw in a deep breath. Let it be a reminder that you are still alive, that my breath is still in you, and that you have a chance to look at me. I am closer than you think, only a single turn of your heart away. It takes only one completely honest word, spoken in the dark, and one single breath where you finally dare to let go of all your exhausting striving. When you take that deep breath, you let go of the cruel words of self-condemnation that you have whispered to yourself for so long. The moment you lay that crushing weight down, you will finally have the room to receive the deep peace I have prepared for you. This peace is not some fleeting feeling that your life is suddenly perfect. It is a quiet steadiness of heart that stands firm in the middle of unfinished things, because you know that I am the one holding the reins, not your past mistakes or your fears of tomorrow. Let me step in and rearrange the chaos that is swirling inside you. Allow me to go into those dark, hidden corners of your life that you do not even dare to look at, and let me wipe them completely clean. I have not come to pull out the record of your sins and review your failures one by one. I have come to shut that folder forever and stamp it with my seal of mercy. I do not deny the things you have done, but I cleanse your heart with a love that refuses to keep score. I want to wash away the thick dust that has settled over your soul for years. Not so you can pretend you never fell, but so you can finally stand on your feet without shaking under the weight of shame. I want you to see your weakness clearly, so that you can know the infinite depth of my strength. There is no need to hide or to paint over your past. All you need to do is place it all in my hands, and let me handle the rest in my own time and way. You spend so many hours worrying that everything you once held dear is lost forever, that the golden opportunities that slip through your fingers will never return, and that what you have broken can never be mended. But my child, understand this. The things I have destined to be a part of your life cannot be stolen by any force on earth, not even by your own deep weakness. There are indeed things I allow you to lose because they were never truly meant for you. But whatever is genuinely your portion in my great plan, I still hold, still guard, and still protect, in a sanctuary that no one can ever reach. When you are not yet mature enough to receive what is yours, I patiently wait for you to grow, guiding you through the lessons you must learn, so that when the appointed hour arrives, you will receive it and never lose it again. The gifts that are yours in me will never slide away. They are simply being kept safe for the perfect season. I do not play cruel games with you by dangling blessings just out of your reach to tease you. I have placed every promise into a divine timetable that all of heaven knows is precise, even when you only see it as a painful delay. A day is coming when you will look back and understand that the prayers I did not answer right away were not ignored, but were being shaped into something infinitely better for your soul. When I say better, I do not mean easier or more comfortable, but something of deep substance and enduring solidity. I refuse to give you a cheap gift that only makes you happy for a fleeting moment, only for you to lose your way in the aftermath. My concern is for the eternal state of your soul, not for brief ticks of shallow satisfaction. You cry out for every painful trial to end immediately, but my desire is for you to step out of that furnace as someone who has learned who I am, who you are, and how precious my grace truly is. You wish for the pages of your life to be smooth and effortless, but I want your story to carry a fire that has the power to touch and transform the lives of others. I know you have been waiting, wondering when this painful chapter will end, but you and I are walking this path together, and I am in no hurry to close it while it is still working to bring forth a deeper, more beautiful richness within your heart. When the day comes for all the blessings I have kept for you to be revealed, you will never again confuse them with mere luck or coincidence. You will recognize my deliberate fingerprints in how every piece fits together, from the people you meet to the doors I open, and even the detours that once seemed meaningless, but now stand as perfect connecting points. Without those heavy chapters, you would not be standing where you are today. In that glorious moment, you will look back to this very second as you listen to my voice, and you will know, deep in your soul, that it is truly I who am speaking to you. You will realize this was never some random passing thought in your mind, but my living breath reaching out to yours. You will remember that right at the point where everything seemed to be at its absolute worst, I was already beginning to write your next beautiful chapter, quietly, gently, yet with absolute certainty. Through every tear, through every dark hour of that long process, I never once let go of your hand, holding you close, even when you felt entirely abandoned in the dark. So do not be quick to conclude that you have run out of chances or that your story is over. Do not rush to lock the doors of your heart simply because you are afraid of being broken again. I do not promise you that from this day forward your eyes will never shed another tear, but I promise you this: not a single tear of yours will ever be wasted. I will take your most mistaken chapters, even the shameful secrets you are terrified others might discover, and I will redeem them. I will turn your deepest pain into a launching pad for massive transformation, bringing comfort and a fierce new hope. not just to your own soul, but to every life you touch. Understand that I waste absolutely nothing you place into my hands. I do not waste the past you hate, the failures that cover you in shame, or the silent, dark corners you thought could never be spoken aloud. Every broken piece can become raw material for a glory you cannot fathom right now. As long as you keep coming back to me, as long as you dare to stretch out your hand, I will continue to write, to shape, and to lift you up until your life perfectly reflects my original dream for you. For now, simply be still. Let down your guard, open your whole heart, and whisper the most honest prayers from the very depths of your weary soul. I am your Father, the Almighty, who searches and knows the deepest, most hidden chambers of your heart. And I see you coming to me today with all of your weariness and inner turmoil. I know how many times you have misunderstood my silence, believing I had turned my face away from you in anger. You thought your desperate prayers were falling into a dark void, and that you were no longer important enough for me to notice. But I forgive you for letting your fragile emotions judge my heart. I am healing the deep wounds left by human abandonment, so you will no longer project their flawed faces onto me, your loving Creator. Let me teach you to recognize that even when everything around you is silent, my love is still actively at work, upholding and guarding you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. I am giving you new eyes of faith right now, so you can trust my heart, even when you cannot understand my actions. Rest here in my arms, instead of struggling in the painful confusion of your own mind. I am your good and gracious Father, and I hold every single season of your life securely in my hands. I want you to hand over all your heavy anxieties about time, about your age, and about those opportunities you believe you have permanently missed. I watch you look around, comparing your journey to others and constantly feeling like you are lagging behind. I hear you ask me why I let them run so fast, while keeping your steps so slow. Do not let those toxic comparisons steal your joy and gratitude anymore. You and I both know that my timing is not bound by human standards, and I want you to truly believe that I am never late. The years you think you wasted are being used by my hands to refine your character, deepen the roots of your faith, and soften your heart. Walk in perfect peace at the unique pace I have set for your life, cherishing every small step we take together. I see every quiet change in your soul and every bit of hidden progress that only you and I share. You must always remember that you are never late in my plan. You are perfectly on time, according to the heavenly schedule I wrote for you before the foundation of the world. As the gentle and wise Holy Spirit, I want you to dismantle the courts of self-accusation you have set up inside your heart. You have judged yourself far more harshly than anyone else, repeating cruel words and imprisoning yourself over mistakes you can never change. Remember, you are simply clay in my hands, and I am the patient potter reshaping you. I am here to soothe the deeply wounded places you still try to hide. I am teaching you to lay down your supposed right to condemn yourself, and instead entrust to me the authority to heal you and mold you according to my perfect will. Believe me when I tell you that you are not a defective product. You are my masterpiece, a work of art still in process. What has been broken in your life is not meant to be discarded, but to be put back together in a way that is far more beautiful and secure. Step out of the role of trying to be strong. Acknowledge your weakness, and let my whisper be the loudest voice in your heart. My beloved child, I am shifting your perspective so you can look back on the years you thought were wasted and see them in a brand new light. Remember that I never rebuked you when you cried out to me, complaining that your life was moving too slowly, that you had missed out, or that you had failed to keep pace with those around you. I have been so patient with you, correcting the way you view time so you can finally recognize my hand. I was quietly, tirelessly at work through every single one of those days you once considered empty and meaningless, preparing you for what is to come. Every tear you shed, every long wait, and every delay has been intentionally used by my hand to deepen the roots of your faith, to soften your heart, and to break the hidden pride you did not even know you carried. I will never force you to chase early success according to the fleeting standards of this world. Instead, I allow you to walk at a gentle pace that is safe for your eternal soul. Every passing season has immense value. Today you can finally be at peace with what lies behind you, because you know I have never and will never take my hand off your life. I have healed your view of who I am. I never grow weary of showing you that I came to save you, not to condemn you. I came to heal your brokenness, not to snuff out your flickering flame, and to protect you, not to crush your spirit. Many of the things you once screamed were unfair were actually moments when I grabbed you and pulled you back from the edge of a dangerous abyss. Many of the things you mourned as devastating losses were actually my sovereign, necessary redirections for your life. I entered into your raw pain, not to scold you, but with gentle hands to lift you up, welcoming your questions, your anger, and your sadness. Without my patient, enduring presence right by your side, you would have let those deep misunderstandings pull you far away from my heart. I have heard your prayers, and I seal them now in my holy name, the name of Jesus Christ. Rest in this truth. And as you walk this path of restoration, I encourage you to connect with others on this same journey. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together, as my family, you can build a strong, vibrant, and deeply encouraging community of faith, lifting each other up daily as you watch my promises unfold in your lives. Let my peace settle over you in this quiet space. This gentle murmur of my voice is a reassurance that I am here, holding you close in the stillness. Hear my quiet breath of agreement, a soft whisper that echoes through the chambers of your heart, letting you know that you are safe, you are loved, and everything is going to be all right. Just rest in this silence, breathing in my grace and letting go of all your striving. I have heard every word of your heart, and I am already working all things together for your good. Rest, my child, for I am with you always, even unto the very end of the age.